Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the McDonCast, the funnest podcast in town. The only podcast with one host who doesn't ever look at the camera, who instead looks off screen by like 90 degrees.
Yeah, because the camera is over there.
Why is the camera over there?
Here.
Who does that?
Because that's where the camera fits.
The camera should be slightly above where your eye line is, so you're never looking at the camera. You're always looking slightly down and to the right.
Look, number one, you're also not looking at the camera.
What are you talking about? I'm doing it right now.
The audience would be weirded out if I was staring directly at them the whole time. That would be awkward.
That's why you stare down and slightly to the right.
Yeah, no, that's too much. It's too complicated.
You know what I love about Zoom calls is you spend most of the Zoom calls staring at your own video feed and not any of the other people in the Zoom call.
Well, that sounds like a you thing.
Am I the only one who does this?
I look at the docket usually.
Oh, I'm not talking about this. Yeah, no, I just have the docket up the whole time. I only have it down during this intro. Which we can't afford to kill any time. We have way too much news.
We have so much stuff to talk about. Let me give you guys
Sam, just go ahead and run right into that.
Rundown of everything we got going on today.
And I have allergies, so I'm going to be sniffling this whole time.
All right, we got trailers, all kinds of trailers, random stuff, random movie announcements. CinemaCon is happening as we speak, so there is a chance we might be getting some live updates during the show. Warner Brothers is just, y'all already know. You guys,
has there ever been a point in this podcast history where Warner Brothers has just been like running like a competent business?
I don't think since we have started this show, Warner Brothers has ever not been just an absolute
When has
mess.
the last time they weren't a giant mess just in general?
Probably when they made the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
So
anyway, we also have a Nintendo Direct, not the Switch 2 Direct, that will be out
Wednesday?
at the time of this show's, by the time you guys watch this. This is the Direct from last week. And then also we got the cast reveal for Avengers Doomsday.
Yes. Lots of names.
We will have some thoughts and theories.
Sam, I have compiled an extensive list in regards to the Avengers Doomsday.
Well, let's start things off with trailers. We got a trailer for Elio.
Another trailer for Elio. Looks fun enough. Looks fine.
It sure is.
Pixar.
More Elio. It looks
hit and
great,
miss.
like visually.
Recently.
This is probably their most technically advanced movie that I've seen for like the lighting and everything.
It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild to me, and this is kind of a more broad topic than this movie, but it's kind of wild to me that like visual effects in movies have been either on the decline or fairly stagnant in their evolution for the past couple of years, but animation has continued to improve. Like every animated movie I feel looks better than the last, and I feel like I haven't seen a movie with like very good special effects in like 4 years. I think Avatar 2 was the last time I was genuinely impressed by a movie's special effects. In general. There's been movies where I've been like, oh, that looks good for like a low budget.
And I mean...
But in terms of just being like, I've never seen anything like this, I think Avatar 2 was the last time.
You could even argue Avatar 2 is an animated movie. Like...
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of
it's 80% motion
time
capture.
Dedicated to real objects, I would say it's an animated movie. Like if we define animated movie as the majority of the movie is animated, then it is an animated movie.
Like Polar Express and Avatar 2 were made basically the same way. So yeah. But
anyways,
no other thoughts on
looks
Elio.
Great.
Looks
it looks
cute.
Fun.
There was a trailer.
Probably watch it.
There was a trailer this week. The next one is for Celine Song's Materialists. This is the writer-director of Past Lives. Did you ever see Past Lives?
I did not.
Okay, very, very good movie. This is that movie is a straightforward romantic drama. This is apparently more of a romantic comedy, although this trailer doesn't really give you that impression because it looks just also like a straightforward drama, although with a romantic comedy setup where Dakota Johnson plays some sort of New York matchmaker, and she gets caught in a love triangle between rich, sexy, handsome man Pedro Pascal and grubby, down-to-earth Chris Evans. I love how Chris Evans is still playing down-to-earth, like, childish grub, even though he's 44 years old.
Well, that's what he has to do.
Like, every movie, he's not Captain America, and he's playing some sort of delinquent child, like man-child.
Yeah, pretty much.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts on
No,
this.
I'm just thinking, like, Fantastic Four, The Losers, Scott Pilgrim, Knives Out,
yeah, he's always like
Ghosted.
Burnout.
He's always some loser man in his like
child.
mid-30s.
Yeah.
But this looks odd.
All right.
I'm not looking forward to it though.
Yeah.
There was another trailer for Andor.
If I hear that it's good, I'll probably watch it on streaming or something. But I'm probably not going to make the trip out to the movie theater for this one.
Sam, I'll make the trip out to the movie theater
trailer.
for anything. Yeah, I don't really need to see another Andor trailer. I'm sold. They got me. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm
just waiting on Andor.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready. 3 episodes a week is a lot.
Show. I haven't honestly. I don't think I've watched any of the trailers all the way through because like I just want to watch the show.
I think I saw the
I'm
first
already
one.
in.
Yeah.
Like I'm already.
They don't.
On
They
board.
just need to tell me
need to
more
sell me.
Andor, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm there.
Just tell me when to be there, and I will be there.
Happy Gilmore 2.
And then we got Happy Gilmore 2
trailer.
I've not seen this trailer, and
do you need to?
I don't think I need.
What are you?
I don't care.
What do you? I mean, you've seen Happy Gilmore.
I expect that they will do the same exact jokes, but it will just be worse.
Do you expect it to be better than Hubie Halloween?
Probably, because I have always said, a worse version of a pretty good movie is still like a okay movie. So I expect this to fully be a worse version of a pretty good movie, which will by default make it an okay movie. I don't think this movie will be unwatchable. I think it will just be incredibly forgettable.
Yeah, I guess if we're going like
forget that this movie exists.
The quality of Adam Sandler sequels divides the first one by 2. I think Happy Gilmore has like the highest base number. So like you divide that by 2,
base stat total.
It's still relatively higher than most Adam Sandler movies in general. I would say.
I will say the production value of this movie looks kind of insane for an Adam Sandler. Like there's actually some like creative shots in the trailer. There's a lot of like dynamic camera movements.
Some big names in the cast too.
Very colorful. Like I honestly like the production direction here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how well.
I mean, it makes sense.
I don't know how well this will do.
Well, it's going to be on Netflix. It's going straight to Netflix. So I feel like
it's not getting any kind of theatrical release?
No. Which is weird because I feel like if
'cause
any
they've been
comedy
doing more of
sequel movie is going to make money, it would probably be Happy Gilmore. Because that's definitely the most popular movie Adam Sandler has ever made. So
yeah,
which is probably why Netflix probably gave him $80 million to make this sequel, and he just fleeced him out of a lot of money.
That also makes sense.
Next trailer, Sam. We can skip that one. You don't even know.
Avenger?
You don't even know what that is.
Well, it's a remake, right?
It's a remake of a trauma movie from the late 80s.
I know. I have not seen Toxic Avenger, but I am familiar with it.
So this,
for some reason, I don't know
this
why.
remake.
I think Papa used to talk about it all the time.
Apparently, our
I feel
dad.
like Papa was always talking about this movie.
He probably saw it like once and was just like confused. But no, this movie was shot, I believe, like 3 or 4 years ago. It premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2023, and then no one picked it up for distribution. Just kind of sat there in limbo until finally a company named Iconic Events Releasing has picked it up. It's going to come out in August. It stars Peter Dinklage as the new Toxic Avenger, who's like a mutant monster crime fighter man.
Interesting how he is upset with the portrayal of dwarves in Snow White, but will be a mutant monster freak creature in this movie. But
well, in the original Toxic Avenger, he's like a big mutant man or a regular sized mutant man.
So is it like we're doing a
we're mixing it up now? He's a short little mutant man, I guess. But some other names in this cast: Jacob Tremblay, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood. Written directed by
Kevin Bacon
Macon
famously
Blair.
only picks really good stuff. Famous using Food Fight.
It's true. Kevin Bacon, one of the odder careers in Hollywood history, I would say.
So was Christopher Walken.
Is there a thing Christopher Walken won't do?
He just kind of does anything.
I mean, he's in Severance. Do you think
he
he even understands? Like, do you think when they give him the scripts for Severance, do you think he even understands what he's reading?
Yes, no, because I do believe he actually really liked the first season because he had it mailed to him.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't know how the internet works, so they have to send him DVDs of the episodes, which is great.
Right. Well, I have no real thoughts on Toxic Avenger.
No, I don't either. I just think it's interesting.
Why did Leonardo DiCaprio post the trailer for his movie on his own YouTube channel?
So
why does his personal YouTube channel only have 6,000 subscribers?
So this is probably the biggest trailer of this week, I think.
This video has 7 million views. Why does he only have 6,000 subscribers?
Okay, so
it's Leonardo DiCaprio. How many subscribers does The Rock have?
Okay, so while you're looking that up, let me give everyone...
7 million subscribers!
Okay, but The Rock is doing, like, vlogs and crap. You think Leonardo DiCaprio's gonna be vlogging? You think he's gonna be making reaction videos?
Name one good movie The Rock was in the last 5 years.
I'm not saying that. That's not relevant. It's really not.
I feel saying like that should be relevant.
The Rock is doing like influencer stuff on his YouTube channel. Leonardo DiCaprio.
The only video Leonardo DiCaprio has, which is this trailer for One Battle After Another, has nearly 8 million views. You'd think the people would subscribe,
but
after they watch
here's the thing: The Rock probably like has at least 2 meetings every week about his YouTube channel and like content he's producing for it, and he's trying to like market himself and stuff. Leonardo DiCaprio probably doesn't even know he has a YouTube channel. So I think it's varying degrees of the effort they're putting in. Anyway.
The Rock has not posted in nearly a month.
Well, he's fallen behind. What's he doing? He needs to get on it.
And it was about John Cena. It was John Cena's
he's doing WWE stuff. Anyway.
Okay, anyway.
So this trailer is for Paul Thomas Anderson's new film. We've talked about this a lot. This is Warner Brothers is making this.
We say his name a lot. We say Paul Thomas Anderson a lot.
If you don't know, writer director of There Will Be Blood and Punch Drunk Love, Licorice Pizza was the last movie he made. A very acclaimed filmmaker who's known for making movies that don't make a lot of money. Warner Brothers has given him $150 million for this. Stars Leonardo DiCaprio. It is based on, or is loosely inspired by a Thomas Pynchon novel named Vinland. It is about...
Vinland, like Vinland Saga?
It is not related to Vinland Saga. The book is a commentary on the countercultural revolution and 1980s Reagan America. So...
Well, Vinland
very
is America.
Yeah.
Vinland was the Viking name for America.
But this new film is very loosely inspired by that novel. This is about here's the premise. When their evil enemy resurfaces after 16 years, a group of ex-revolutionaries reunites to rescue one of their own's daughter. We know from the trailer that one of their own is Leonardo DiCaprio's character. This looks great. I am very much looking forward to this. This is kind of we are never going to see him probably make another movie like this ever again, for a variety of reasons. But I am very much looking forward to this. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I haven't seen every movie he's made, but I have loved every movie
This trailer
I've
looks
seen of
fun.
his.
I'm smelling a cool $60 million, but
for sure.
Good.
But he's been given a ridiculous budget. He's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Regina Hall, Benicio del Toro. So great cast. Johnny Greenwood's coming back to do the score. He shot it on VistaVision in IMAX. The scale looks absurd. Sam, I even bought the book this is based on to read, okay?
Why?
Because, I don't know, I'm on crack.
Like, you don't have enough stuff to do? You're going to read this whole book?
I'll read it. Well, okay, so this comes out in September, so I have time. This was going to come out in August, but they pushed it back because I think they were like...
Sure, why not?
I think Fantastic Four was going to come out like the week before, and that was probably a really bad idea. But they pushed this back to September, but it looks great. I am very, very much looking forward to this. This is probably in my top 5 most anticipated for the rest of the year. And of course, number 1 on that list is Final Destination Bloodlines, the next trailer we have.
Yeah, I don't care about this at all.
Final Destination 6.
This is one of them things I don't care about.
What if elaborate deaths again for an hour and 40 minutes?
What if I still don't care?
What if
this concept or this movie?
Well, someone cares because this is the 6th movie they've made in this series.
And we maybe be done?
No, nothing is done. Nothing is ever done. We will never be done with anything. Everything must go on for eternity.
I don't even understand how these movies haven't just fallen into the parody of themselves. Like where it's just like they're just jokey the whole time.
That is interesting. I don't think any of them have gotten to the point. None of them are all that like serious.
Yeah, like Scream is probably the most self-aware franchise that exists at this point, and they're very aware that they are like silly and goofy and not to be taken seriously. I feel like Final Destination even more so should be at that point and just isn't.
Maybe when they get to 7. Maybe when they do Final Destination 7.
Just disconnected.
Yes, mine did too because I got an Amber. We both got an Amber Alert. Where's this one in? San Antonio. We neither one of us are anywhere near San Antonio.
There we go. Okay, I can hear you again.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah,
we just got an Amber Alert, everyone.
Can we get the final one of these movies? Yes, can we be done with this?
Nope. Sam.
All right, then. Well, if we can't be done with that movie, we can be done with this segment. Moving on.
To
some random movie announcements.
Oh my gosh, Sam.
CinemaCon.
So, we are going to be... this podcast is already going to be out of date when I put it up in a few hours, but... CinemaCon is this week. If you don't know what CinemaCon is, it's when all of the movie production companies, all the big studios, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Disney, Universal, over the course of this week, they're all going to give presentations to the theater owners to kind of preview their upcoming slate for mostly this year and then a little bit of the next couple of years. There will probably be a few trailers to drop this week. Don't expect anything like any giant news. It's not Comic-Con. You're not going to get like complete cast breakdowns and like photos and concept art and stuff.
No, and we just got the Avengers cast anyways.
It's mostly going to be like...
If you need that, go be weird about that.
But the only presentation that has happened so far as of recording is Sony Pictures. So we will talk about what they covered. But before we do that, there's a variety of other just kind of miscellaneous movie news stories that have broken over the past week. You will notice a common...
did you see Sydney Sweeney is in Gundam now?
I did see that. Yeah, it's rumored. That's apparent. She's also single, Sam. That was... I saw I saw that being published by legitimate newspapers, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, I did
here?
No, I was one of the first to hear about it because one of my friends was very, very excited about that.
Like I know TMZ is always on that stuff. Like that's their stock in trade. But like
yeah, but no, like
I saw
real
Deadline and like the Variety reporting that Sydney Sweeney's single, and it's like, okay. What do you want me to do with that information? Like track her down?
Is she like just the new like Marilyn Monroe now, where it's like everyone just
we're all just gonna agree that as a society we should
just like
we're just gonna objectify her endlessly. Yeah, that's great. good for society.
And she seems to be like leaning into it as well.
Well, I think she's smart enough to know, like, if I fight this, like, I can't fight this, so I'm just gonna let it be.
Yeah, I guess I'll just let the chips fall.
You know what? She is booked and busy, man. She took supporting character on Euphoria and spun it into like genuine movie career. Well, in the course of like 2 or 3 years,
like 2 movies.
She was in Madam Web, but I don't think that was her fault.
Madam Web, and what else was she in?
She was in Sydney.
I think it's just as far as I know,
she's got a lot of stuff in the works. She was in Immaculate, that horror movie. I don't know if you remember that.
Right. I didn't see that, but I remember that she was in it.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid hit. She's in.
My phone has just disappeared. Okay. Oh, I'm back. All right.
She's gonna be Christy Martin in the Christy Martin biopic. She's gonna be apparently in.
All right,
Gundam.
We don't need to go through City Sweeney.
You asked. Anyway.
I didn't ask. I said I couldn't think of any
Sam,
movie she was in.
You know the video game Split Fiction? It's a big hit right now.
It is making moves. It is now the highest selling or fastest selling co-op game ever.
Okay, wow. They're trying to make that into a movie.
Fiction is going crazy.
Apparently the people who set up the It Takes Two film are going to set up this as well. I know what you're thinking. There is no It Takes Two movie, and that's because it's coming to Amazon.
Would be really cool as a movie adaptation. I think that this could actually be kind of cool. Do you know what the concept of Split Fiction is?
I'm guessing it's similar to It Takes Two, right? Like gameplay-wise?
As far as I understand it, it's about 2 rival fiction authors, one who writes science fiction books and the other who writes fantasy books.
So they
each get trapped in the world of each other's books, and then they have to like use teamwork to
That's
get
kind
out
of fun.
It. Yeah, I think that could work really well as a movie. Actually,
would you do it animated or live action?
Probably live action. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to do it live action. I mean, it would be expensive, but everything's expensive now.
That's true.
What's
Sam,
going on with Jason Bourne?
The rights to the Jason Bourne franchise have lapsed over at Universal. Their deal expired. So the Robert Lundholm estate, who is the estate of the author of the books, because if you don't know, those original 3 movies are based on a series of books. They've been taking meetings with Skydance, Apple, and Netflix for a potential reboot of the franchise. It's being reported that Universal could also get the rights back if they submit a bid for it, but it seems like they're just kind of not interested.
I mean, they haven't done anything with it in like 20 years, so I
they hired
doing it now. Yeah,
they hired Edward Berger, who directed Conclave and All Quiet on the Western Front, to helm a new take in 2023, but nothing came of it, so they just kind of let it go. The trades were reporting that it is unknown whether or not Matt Damon would return, but I can pretty much say solidly as a person with no Hollywood connections that he's not going to come back and do this. They did 5 of these. He was in 4 of them.
Bourne Resurrections.
They did the Bourne Legacy already without Matt Damon. Resurrections. I mean, you can still call the new one that. You just recast him.
No. He's back.
So I don't think he really ever left. I mean, they made a Bourne movie like 9 years ago. It hasn't been forever since the last one.
But he's gonna Resurrections.
It worked so well for The Matrix. Remember The Matrix Resurrections?
Yeah, it was great. Everyone loved it.
Everyone loved it, and they were like, we should do more of this. What if you did this, but with Jason Bourne?
That's what everyone's favorite thing is.
But yeah, no, they...
Right. Hey, I don't have a lot of complex
thoughts
on Jason Bourne either.
Another thing, Sam, that's up for... Another big IP that is up for sale, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is being shopped around. According to Deadline, a variety of studios are interested, including Lionsgate, A24, and Neon. The big rumor going around involving this is that J.T. Molnar, who wrote and directed Strange Darling, which was this really, really, really good, tiny, small little indie thriller that came out last year, that if you haven't seen, you guys should check it out. But the rumor is that he is interested in tackling this. He's developing a script, and apparently when that script is done, Glenn Powell wants to read it because he is interested in starring and producing in a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I don't really know what that would look like. That seems like that's a little below his pay grade, if I'm being quite honest.
Oh, wait a minute. I see the vision.
By the way, just so everyone knows, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 51-year-old movie franchise.
Tucker,
Mm-hmm.
have you considered Texas cinematic universe?
Interesting. Where are you going with this?
Twister.
Yep.
Chainsaws.
Yep.
Tornado full of chainsaws.
You're saying we take all of the movies that take place in Texas and put them in one universe.
Specifically the ones with Glenn Powell and Texas.
Okay, so Twisters is in Oklahoma, so I don't even think we can do that one.
But it's Texas coded.
I mean,
the vibes are very Texas.
There are tornadoes in Texas. You could just drive a little bit further south, I guess.
Exactly.
So we would have Twisters. We would have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Can his character from Top Gun just kind of like fly a plane over?
Sure, they'll all be yeah. That's how they'll blow up the chainsaw tornado with an F-22.
His character from Everybody Wants Some, his college Richard Linklater comedy drama.
But Sydney Sweeney can also be there. She'll be part of the Texas cinematic universe.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, get her. Who cares? Everyone from Texas.
Why not? Texas universe. Let's do it.
Yeah. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is a dead IP. The last one went straight to Netflix. Like, it's time to let this thing go. It's not. I don't think it's financially viable anymore.
I think you could. I see potential.
The last one to come out.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
The last one to come out in theaters was in 2013. It made $47 million on a $20 million budget. So that's like, those were razor thin margins the last time they tried this in theaters.
Yeah, but Glenn Powell, honestly, he does kind of do like, he could absolutely elevate a smaller scale horror movie to a massive hit.
Oh, 100%. I don't think he should do this, though. Like, I feel like this would hurt his trajectory.
Oh, he has nothing to gain from this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
like, I guess the draw.
I think he just wants to do it.
I guess the draw would be he'd probably get to shoot it in Texas, which is where he is from, and he would get to produce it.
I think he likes playing Southern Texas guy character, and I think he wants to do it again. And this is an easy way to do that.
Yeah, and he would be able to produce
it.
It would turn a profit,
like $100 million if he signs on.
I was just thinking about this earlier because, like, obviously CinemaCon is happening this week, and there's all these presentations, and they're presenting all of like their giant $150 million IP franchises. I was like, I think even more valuable than those franchises are to these studios, these like your James Bonds, your Spider-Mans. I think the studios are probably most hungry for horror IP because it's IP, so you get that guaranteed audience. And it's still cheap.
You get IP and horror guaranteed returns.
Yeah, so I think there's a reason that all of these, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is 51 years old, and it hasn't had a real movie in, like, 12 years. It's still super valuable because it's an IP, and the max this is going to cost is, like, $30 million, and it'll make 65. So
it'll make 80 million opening.
I would expect a lot of pretty much anything that's ever been a horror IP, like, to be even more, the studios to be even more focused on that, especially a studio like Warner Brothers.
Mithrigan is going to make $300 million.
I don't know about Mithrigan too. There doesn't seem to be, I'm not sensing any interest for that, like, at all.
No, but no one cared about the first one, and they never for some reason.
But the first one, like,
also,
there were people who were, no, they haven't.
Trailer.
They haven't, and they still have time. It comes out in like 3 or 4 months or whatever, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Once they hit the go button on that, it'll have.
They should be ramping that up. I think they're waiting a little too long to do that because June's pretty crowded. Like, there's other stuff happening. If they don't like get a foot in the door, I don't think people are going to remember.
In June though.
28 years later comes out. I think like 1 or 2 weeks after Mithrigan.
That's not really. That's not the same though. That's like
no, it's different. It's different audiences. Mithrigan is more. That's like PG-13. It's for like tweens.
It's like campy horror audience. Anyway, Moving
Uh,
on, we got
there's
Amazon
we got some
James
Amazon
Bond news.
updates. So first off,
Yeah.
David Heyman and Amy Pascal have been hired by Amazon MGM to produce and helm the new James Bond film. So you can see they're already moving pretty fast on that. Amy Pascal, if you have a passing awareness of the Hollywood industry, you probably know who she is. She's the longtime Spider-Man producer. She used to run Sony Pictures. She was fired after
Little Women.
Yeah, she was fired after the email scandal, so she's since been an independent producer. She's been kind of working on a lot of places in Hollywood, so she's been still producing the Spider-Man movies, but also...
And David Heyman has done Harry Potter...
David Heyman is the Harry Potter producer.
Done quite a few pretty good stuff.
But yeah, Amy Pascal also Challengers, the tennis movie with Zendaya, Little Women. She's kind of been working all over the place. This is a solid team. I still need to see who the creative team is going to be for the new Bond. I think that's more important than anything else, even more than like casting, I think. But yeah, no, this is good enough. Amy Pascal can be pretty hit and miss, like in general, and she's kind of a weirdo in real life, but she's not a terrible producer.
Like this squad could definitely pull together a decent.
Are you watching? Have you seen The Studio on Apple TV Plus with Seth Rogen?
No, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's very, very good, and you should watch it. But Catherine O'Hara's character in that show is basically a one-for-one version of Amy Pascal. Okay. So if you've seen that show, that's basically who she is in real life. Also, Jennifer Salke, who was the head of Amazon MGM Studios, has agreed to part ways with the company amicably. She was definitely not fired. They are not replacing her. They're going to dissolve her position. She was head of both the film. So Amazon had a weird structure. So they had a head of film and a head of television. And then they had Jennifer Salke, and the head of film and the heads of film and television reported to her, and then she reported to Mike Hopkins, who was the head of Prime Video. So she was basically a middleman. She really had no reason to be there. She was just kind of like the green light person. But she's gone, and they've restructured. So the heads of film and TV are now just going to report direct to Mike Hopkins, which is why they're not replacing the position. But she has kind of been apparently on the chopping block for a while because Prime Video has been making a variety of questionable decisions. And the main reason, the final domino, I guess, the thing that tipped it off at the end, was that she was apparently the reason that Barbara Broccoli, the James Bond producer, wasn't getting along with Amazon. Apparently they couldn't even be in the same room together. And so she's the reason that Jeff Bezos had to cut a check for $1 billion to get the Bond rights away from them.
According to ChatGPT, according to The Verge, she had a tensious relationship with Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where Jeff Bezos had to come in and be like, shit up.
Yeah, they had to buy her out. Because one of the biggest reasons Amazon bought MGM to begin with was to get the Bond rights. So to buy them up.
Yeah, because that was really the only big IP they had.
And then cut another additional $1 billion check, I'm guessing made old Jeff not very happy. Because he just needs that $1 billion. What else is he going to do with it?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't see James Bond making that back, at least not for a very long time.
I mean, it could. Bond movies have grossed $1 billion in the past, but no,
Yeah, but
it's not really worth it. So they could fast track the Moneypenny Prime Video series, which is the reason they did it.
Yeah.
But she was also the person responsible for Citadel, which was their Russo brothers spy series that became the most the second most expensive TV show ever made, behind Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which was also her.
On Amazon Prime.
And that cost $500 million a season, and Citadel cost $300 million a season. The main difference between those two shows was that Citadel, absolutely not a single human being on planet Earth watched, so they spent $300 million on absolutely nothing. Lord of the Rings spent $1 gajillion. Some people watched it. Declining viewership. Someone watched that show, as opposed to.
Citadel. At least it was Lord of the things adjacent, so like people had heard of it.
Yeah,
Some people
it was the brand name. The brand name was the only reason anyone watched that show. But she was... Prime Video's been kind of odd. Because Prime Video is another one where it's like, I don't really understand what their goal is with this. The main studio I question...
doesn't seem to have any long-term goal, really.
Well, it makes more sense to me than Apple. Like, I don't know why Apple makes Apple TV. Like, I genuinely don't, other than the fact that I guess Tim Cook likes to make shows, wants to be involved in TV.
I think Apple TV serves two purposes mainly, and that's one, to produce content that looks good on Apple devices, and two, it builds prestige for Apple's brand. Like, it's kind of prestige television.
We make prestige phone and we make prestige TV show.
Yeah, that, and
they are the only streamer to win Best Picture, which is still a weird fun fact.
Production quality, like production-wise, Apple already makes like really big cinema quality commercials.
Yeah.
So it, like, more than anything, it probably also serves as like a resource for them that they can tap into when they want to make commercials.
Yeah.
Like I could definitely see how it could like create value for the company. Amazon Prime makes no sense.
Amazon Prime, I think
because no one's paying for it. It generates no revenue, and it costs more than any other streaming service.
Well, Prime Video, I mean, it has more subscribers. There's more people on watching stuff on Prime Video than are on Apple TV. But yes, I think
none of those people are generating revenue because those people were just subscribed to Amazon Prime and then also just watching Amazon Prime.
Well, I think the goal... Well, the other thing with Prime Video is, unlike most of the other services, like, you can rent and buy movies and shows through Prime Video. So I guess there is some level of that they're making money on that. But I think it's also...
Yeah.
They want you on Prime Video because through Prime Video they can try to get you to buy Amazon products off the Prime. Because if you go to...
But they don't even advertise Amazon products.
They do on the web browser version, not on your phone or on your TV. But
who's
like
watching it in the web browser?
I'm just saying. But on Prime Video, if you go to like one of their original shows, like one of their big ones, they usually have like merch they're selling for that show that you can order on Amazon directly through the Prime Video app. So I think that's the main reason that they have Prime Video, is to try to just get you on like the Amazon web servers and be like shopping for products. Which still makes more sense to me than Apple, who's like, will you buy Apple News if we also give you Apple TV? Either way, yeah, Amazon Prime Video in general has kind of carved out their niche as the guy with gun streaming network with like Jack Ryan and Cross and Reacher, obviously the big one. That's kind of where they carved out their niche.
They've kind of become the dad streaming service.
Yes, them and Paramount Plus, because Paramount Plus has all the Taylor Sheridan stuff on it. But that's kind of where they've settled. They tried to get into fantasy. They did Lord of the Rings, which has been diminishing returns. They did the Wheel of Time. I don't know if anyone's watching that, but they're like 3 seasons deep on the Wheel of Time. They've tried a lot of different stuff over the years.
Well, Wheel
some
of Time
kids
gets
programming.
It's just no one ever talks about it.
They've tried some kids programming, but yeah, they've finally kind of figured out what they're doing. And then on the movie side, it's been nonsense. Like, this is the studio that distributed Manchester by the Sea, and then also makes, Red One, a $250 million Dwayne Johnson Christmas action film from the Fast and Furious screenwriter. Yeah. And, like Air, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon shoe movie that cost $100 million for no reason. So I think the main reason she was fired was for the movie stuff, because they've just been like, that studio obviously has absolutely no direction.
Kind of been floundering.
Yeah. Anyway, I can already tell you're bored with this. So we'll move on to the Sony Pictures CinemaCon presentation. We'll do a quick run through of everything they talked about. They started off with Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which finally has a release date, Sam.
Came out
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
I think. One year ago.
2 years ago. It's weird that they are just releasing random stills from like 3 years out.
They gave us some stills. They confirmed the return of the two main people in the voice cast, which I think we all assumed. Shamik Moore and Haley Steinfeld.
We don't really have a lot. The stills do not really give us any hints.
No, it's just kind of Miles standing there and then some pictures of the Prowler.
Yeah, we got one picture of the Prowler, but he's probably a flashback, I would assume.
Well, or it's the Miles Morales
Prowler.
Yeah, that we saw at the end. But confirmed release date for June 4th, 2027. 2 more years, everyone. You gotta wait 2 more years. So, it's ridiculous. Why did they think that they could do that? Why did they think they could do this in 1 year?
What happened?
Well, what happened was they made the first movie thinking that they could just churn the other one out in a year, and instead it took 4. Because they started from scratch on this one.
Like the delusion, how were they so delusional as to even pretend that was possible?
I have no idea.
That's what I don't understand.
I know because I've heard over the years that Phil Lord and Chris Miller tend to be very indecisive and change things like all the time, like all the way into production. Like they're still like editing the script.
It takes what was the
which
like 1 month for every 3 seconds of Spider-Verse animation.
Yeah, which I think is the reason that it took so long to carve out the story, because we were hearing reports that like they didn't have a script until like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Like this movie that was supposed to come out 2 years ago, they didn't have a script for. So I think that was a big part of it. Obviously the animation takes an ungodly amount of time, just a ridiculous amount of work to get that done. And then these movies don't have as big of a budget as like a Pixar or even a Disney movie does. Like they're making these for like, I think like $100 million is what the last one cost. And your giant, huge animated movies, those have like a $200 million budget. So they're making it for a lot less. I mean, I'm sure this one will have that bigger budget because this is Sony Animation's biggest thing by far. But even then, which is why it took so long. But hey,
how much did
we got a date.
Last one make?
We got a date. The last one did like 5 something. The last one did 690. The last one did almost 700, which is insane because the first one made not even in the same ballpark of that.
Oh, okay. The last one made almost 700.
Yeah.
It made 690.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good.
That's
the first
pretty good.
one did 384. I mean, if it keeps growing, and
it should.
reason, since the last one was really good, I see no reason why it wouldn't. This could be a $1 billion movie.
I think $1 billion's a bit of a stretch.
Or just shy of it.
I think we're looking at probably like an
700
$850
million? Only 300. Like, if it grows by half as much as it grew last time, that's about a $1 billion movie.
Well, I don't think we're going to see the exact same thing with the first one. Because the first one, it came out in 2018.
Well, the first one was 380, so it was like 400.
Yeah, but the jump you got from the first one
jump.
was because it came out in December 2018, and then it just kind of sat on Netflix for 3-4 years, and it just built up this massive audience.
Yeah.
And that obviously, like, you had the COVID boost from that. There was everyone at home. They were looking for stuff to watch. Oh, there's this amazing animated Spider-Man movie. So they kind of went and discovered it there. It obviously won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Across the Spider-Verse...
But it also came out towards the very tail end of COVID as well.
It was like one of the first really it was like a good year. Yeah. It was like a good year after COVID was wrapped up. But...
Yeah, but it was still... I remember it was still... that was probably the first big movie back.
I think it'll do more. I think $1 billion is a bit of a stretch. And I would say if it was very good, it could do that. But, the last two, everyone loved, and it still didn't get that high. So we'll see. I don't know what else. I don't think there's anything else that scheduled on the calendar for June 2027 that's pretty far away. So I don't really know what it's going to be competing with. So I guess for now, it's got the whole month to itself. Also, big Sony sequel news, Jumanji 4. Jumanji 4, Jake Kasdan, acclaimed auteur filmmaker Jake Kasdan returning for Jumanji 4 to direct, coming December 11th, 2026. Jake Kasdan, director of Red 1 and Jumanji's 2 and 3. And the
Bad
movie
Teacher.
And the movie Sex Tape with Jason Segel and Cameron Diaz.
And Bad Teacher 2.
Wow. What a filmography.
Don't forget Bad Teacher 2.
I don't think that's real.
2014. The same year he made Sex Tape.
So, Get hyped, everyone. Jack Black said he's probably not coming back. I don't know if you saw that, but in an interview for Minecraft, he was like, I don't think I'm coming back for the next one. And I was like, then what are we doing here? What's the point of this?
He might come.
I think he is. I think they'll lure him back with a big enough bag of cash.
He might come back. I think he'd come back.
I don't know how you do it without him. Is it just The Rock and Kevin Hart?
Unless he wants Minecraft to be like his franchise home until he retires.
I don't think Jack Black cares. I think he just will collect checks. He doesn't seem like a guy who's really that concerned. Too, he's not winning an Academy Award. He's definitely not.
I think he might be turning Jim Carrey on us. I think he might just make Minecraft movies forever.
Well, let's see. Let's look at his recent stuff. So he's in Minecraft this week. He's going to be in Anaconda later this year. He did Borderlands, Kung Fu Panda 4, the Mario movie, Jumanji 2, The House with a Clock in its Walls, Goosebumps 2.
I forgot about the house.
He's not exactly aiming for like quality.
Yeah, but that's what I was like. That's exactly why I think he might just make Minecraft movies forever.
But is that
like maybe he's done doing weird other stuff and he's just like, yeah, I'll just do this.
Well, that's only if he has the option to make Minecraft movies forever.
He'll have the option.
I think he'll do it. He just wants a raise.
There's no Tucker, have we ever in the history of the podcast been able to how many people are in this group chat? Give me info, Apple. How many? We got 5 plus 2 more. That's 6 people going with us to see this movie. That's never happened ever.
Yep.
I think Captain America, we had 2 people.
I mean, I have seen. I have scheduled events where I've gone to the movies with more than 6 people.
No, but like for this show, we've never I don't think we've ever had that many people come with us.
Since we've done the show, since we started doing the show?
Yeah.
That's probably, I don't know, I have to look at a list of stuff. I think that's probably
I'm not saying that this is a perfect metric because
no,
because we didn't have anyone come with us to go to see Avengers Endgame, but like
it's true.
Still, that many normies are going to see this movie.
No, Minecraft if you look at the pre-sales, it's empty. This movie's going to have like 85% walk-up business. It's just going to be a bunch of like dads taking their 12-year-old sons to go see on a Saturday afternoon. Like this, it's going to do well.
Everyone's going to see this movie.
Which, yeah, I'm not expecting this movie to flop. I'm just saying I don't think Jack Black has really cared or has ever cared about the quality of the films he's in, and just kind of likes to do fun stuff. I think he just wants a raise. And I think this Jumanji 4, I think it's going to do less than the first 2. I think they waited too long.
Jumanji 4 is going to there is no hope.
It's got insane competition when it comes out, and also, I mean, it'll have been 7 years since Jumanji woke the next level, and no one has spoken a word about that movie since it came out. I don't think anyone said a word about it when it came out.
Jumanji 4 is a Jumanji,
and it's not like The Rock is riding a high right now.
Zombie franchise, like it should by all metrics be dead, but for some reason it just isn't.
I mean, it is Sony's biggest IP outside of Spider-Man, which is kind of pathetic.
That cannot be true.
That is true. That is actually true. They own some other IPs, but Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and The Next Level both almost made $1 billion each. And I think there's only been 3 movies in the history of Sony Pictures that have grossed $1 billion. Those were Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Skyfall, because they used to have part of Bond, but they lost it. So they also have... Okay, we'll get to the other CinemaCon stuff, because it brings it up. So other CinemaCon stuff from Sony...
Yeah. Their biggest ones are Spider-Man, Jumanji, and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and Ghostbusters they're putting on ice because that flamed out pretty fast. That tanked.
Dude, are we seeing... Is Sony Pictures about to die? Is it just about to... Yeah,
no,
is it just going to be gone?
Okay, well, we're talking about their slate right now. So we'll bring this up. Sony has no film IP really to speak of. They've got nothing. They tried to turn the Spider-Man.
They have Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is Marvel. Disney has Spider-Man by the balls. They're very limited with what they can do there.
They tried to do the villain universe, and it did not work.
Yeah, they shut down the Spunk because that was a conceptually terrible idea.
Venom has been
They still have Into the Spider-Verse. Those are doing good.
But that is like the Spider. That's a Spider-Man movie. So they've tried to like spin it off and see if they can get the other characters they have the rights to work, and really only Venom did. So I guess they could keep churning those out if they really want to. But other than that,
Venom only worked. Venom only works because he's the one that looks the most like Spider-Man.
Yeah. And, you know, he's like an easy sell. He's a big goop man who's like funny and blows stuff up. No one who is Madam Web. But if you look at their slate for this year, Karate Kid Legends, which, come on, that's not, not gonna hit. I'm sorry.
Not real.
28 years later,
stamping that with the not real stamp.
28 years later, which they've made a giant investment in because they've shot 3. They're making 3 of those. They've locked in 3. They've shot all 3 of them. They gotta do them.
Those will do. Those will probably like barely make their budgets back.
You think because this 28 years later, this first part $75 million budget. So which means that thing's got to make like
that's
this thing's got to do like 180 200 worldwide. I think that's possible. I know what you did last summer.
That's not a thing. Not real stamp. Bump, not
they
real.
Have Darren Aronofsky's new film, which will be not only not profitable, but real. Also highly controversial, probably. And then Anaconda. So they're not working with the best film IP. So I would say to them, what I'm surprised by is that they are not exploiting the video game properties that they own outright. They have the most profitable division of Sony is their video game
aren't
division.
They doing God of War?
You'd think they'd be pumping these out the wazoo, though. Like, I know they've got Horizon in the works. They did Uncharted, but like Last of Us, that's a show on HBO. God of War is a show at Prime Video, which that one I don't get at all. That should be a movie. And then
the creator said that he couldn't.
He hasn't played the game because he doesn't know how to play video games, that's always a good sign for how good.
That's fine, but like watch a Let's Play or something maybe, so you know what the game is, what happens in this game.
Yeah, I'm sure someone made him like an outline, like someone gave him a brief idea. But you got like, I mean, I guess they did Gran Turismo. They did that. That kind of worked.
That one was all right.
It made some money, maybe.
It didn't make a lot of, like, conceptually, it didn't make much sense for it to be a Gran Turismo movie, but, like, it was fine as a Gran Turismo movie.
They're working on another Resident Evil, which, I mean, they try that every 15 minutes.
Okay.
Days Gone, you could do something with that. Ghost of Tsushima, you should do something with that.
Ghost of Tsushima should be a movie.
Yeah.
And would be so, oh my god, that would be so easy. Do you know how easy it is to make a rural Japan movie, like budget-wise? That's like a $70 million budget. You could do that.
You just fly to Japan.
Well, I mean, you got to make it old.
It kind of already looks old, depending on where you go. You just get out of the cities.
Yeah, you go to rural Japan. Yeah, but still got to like CGI all the
air but that's cheap. That's cheap if it's a field. You can just fill that in. It's expensive when you gotta like make the background from scratch.
That's very achievable. That can be done. They should be doing that.
And then another thing is like, where's the Uncharted sequel? Where's that? It's been like 4 years. That movie wasn't even very good, but it made some money. So like, let's churn that out.
I think Tom Holland has been.
I know he's just busy, but like, come on, let's get this thing moving. There's no script. There's no director. What's Mark Wahlberg doing?
Should not have ever. That franchise, I think, would.
That is the easiest.
As profitable if they had not cast Tom Holland.
That is
purely because they just could have been making more of them.
No, but like, oh yeah, for that reason. But like for like hot young star, big with the studio, like Tom Holland's he's their boy. But
yeah, but no. Also,
No,
he's gonna
miscast.
get
I'm not
older, but
agreeing that. I'm
no
not
matter
agreeing
how
that he's
old
right.
he gets, he's never gonna look right. Yeah.
But like, you'd think they'd be cranking that out. Like, what are we doing over here? Like, that's what they should be exploiting. Like, that's what they should be going after. Why are we trying to reboot
Yeah,
I
they should
Know
be
What
doing
You Did
something.
Last Summer, a movie franchise that I
Nothing.
literally don't think has had a movie in theaters since like 1999.
I am not a 15-year-old girl, and so I am incapable of caring about that movie.
Okay,
I'm just genetically, I'm incapable of caring.
but
about
looking
that.
forward to like the next couple of years. Next year, 2026, they have 28 Years Later Part 2. They have an animated
Okay,
movie about
confirmed real movie.
an anthropomorphic goat basketball player being produced by Steph Curry.
Okay, that's not real.
Well, okay, but like that'll probably be fine. It's a cartoon. It'll probably not be very expensive. Steph Curry, he's popular.
Not real.
Are you declaring it bad, not going to make money, or not real?
It's just not real. Like no one's gonna care.
You don't
about
expect that to exist?
What is even that?
It's called
What
Goat.
even is that? What are you saying? Yeah, okay, and Sneaks is gonna do really well because it has a guy people know in it.
Hey, no, I mean, hey, Sony can make their animated stuff pretty cheap. So
I know because Sneaks exists.
they didn't do that one.
Oh yeah, but they would have.
They got Spider-Man 4, which we'll talk about in a second. The new Resident Evil
Yeah.
film, Jumanji 4. But then in 27, they got that Zelda movie. They did manage to lock down the Zelda movie. That could be big for them. If they can get it right,
Be big.
which the likelihood of them getting it right is like 15%. It's very low.
We should at some point. I need to
'Cause-
like actually do
because
the
that
math
just
on
got a
if this
release
could
date.
Possibly even
That
be
just
good.
got a release date for March 26th, 2027. So that's 2 years away. That's technically less than 2 years away. That's coming up. We're going to be getting casting. We're going to know who's writing it. We're going to get production stuff probably in the next couple months. That's rolling. Ball's rolling on that. They got to get going on that Zelda movie. So that's interesting. Obviously, Avi Arad producing, the kiss of death himself. So we'll see how they balance that. Wes Ball directing. Track record. Generally, made Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, out of Avi Arad's 19 films, 11 are rated fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So that gives us about
11?
a 60% chance of it being
Okay.
over 58%.
But how many of those are like Spider-Man movie he obviously had no involvement in?
well, that's the thing. This is all of them. So
'Cause
that
I'm looking
includes
at it.
Spider-Man 2, No
I'm
Way
looking at it.
Home, Iron Man. Like that includes all of those.
Yeah, the ones that like they had to get around him to make good. All of the ones he
Yeah.
had bad ideas for that they didn't use.
So that's just for Avi Arad. That's not for Wes Ball.
Wes Ball he's just made the newer Apes movie and then the Maze Runner stuff. So a little bit less to
Well,
work with there.
Didn't he? If I recall, didn't he also make Monster Trucks?
He did not. I don't think. He
Oh yeah,
did
okay. He's
not
only done Maze Runner and
make
Planet
that
of the Apes.
film. That was
So
that
ooh.
was Chris Wedge made to the film Monster Trucks. You want to know something not surprising at all, Sam?
Tucker he's got 33% rating.
No, the Maze Runner films are not good, but Apes was solid. Apes was solid. That's his most recent thing. You just shaking your head. You're just saying no. No to
Because think about it.
Yep.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, he is not.
You're saying
based
that's
on
an
something that
anomaly.
existed.
Okay, but
Well,
it
that
was
and
though.
it's like. Yes, but there was no source material for that specific.
I mean, it was like the ninth
Story.
movie in the Apes
You know,
franchise.
like the concept. It's based on the concept.
You're saying
of
it's not like a
monkeys
book where he
run
had
the
like
planet.
he had a thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't a book, and it wasn't like a direct adaptation of something that previously existed. Zelda is an out of his adaptations, our numbers plummet
I gotta see who's writing it.
to like 11%.
I gotta see who's writing it. We don't know who's writing it. I gotta see who's doing that. I don't know who that is gonna be, but we'll see. And we gotta keep in mind that Miyamoto is producing, So it will have. They're not going to be able to completely like bastardize this thing, but
Yeah, but Miyamoto. Okay, let's look at.
But
Miyamoto,
also the
though.
Mario
He just
movie
only
wasn't very
produced
good.
Mario.
But it made a
That's
lot of
what I'm
money,
saying.
and that's what matters.
He only did Mario.
But it made a lot of money. What's going on with your video? You having
Why
trouble?
is my I don't. For some reason, my phone just keeps disconnecting from my laptop. There we go.
Mine does
Okay.
that every now and then. Yeah.
I
But
don't know, yeah, for every couple weeks, it just decides to throw a fit. Continuing though. No, I mean Legend of Zelda is so cooked. It's so
no,
it's so
more than
cooked,
likely,
it's so
bad. Gonna be bad. Other
there's
stuff.
no way
Sony's
it's
cooking up. A new Insidious film will released August 2026.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, this is kind of an interesting one. Tagashi Yamasaki, who wrote and directed Godzilla -1, he's going to be writing.
End of Evangelion.
He's going to be writing and directing his first English language film called Grand Gear for Sony. J.J. Abrams on board as producer. So that could be something. Godzilla -1, I believe, was your favorite movie of 2023. So
It was my favorite movie of 2023, and I'm also a big Evangelion fan, even though it is almost impossible to even comprehend what that series is about.
One time, Sam tried to explain it to me, and I could not tell you a single piece of information that he explained over the course of that 45 minutes. Genuinely not a one thing. Other than
You don't remember the Human Instrumentality Project, or that time where humanity turns into orange goo?
I mean, I think I had a dream like that once, but no, I don't remember that being a plot detail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for whatever he makes. I'll watch it. I will be there.
Also, okay, here's the biggest thing. Spider-Man 4 officially got a title and a logo. Spider-Man 4 is now
Is this big?
Is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Brand New Day, obviously a direct reference to the comic book storyline.
I think that's not a good title.
Semi-controversial? I mean, it makes sense, though.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But now, are these going to be the Spider-Man Day?
Okay, here's my thing. No, I think it's going to be new. I think the thing will be
And then
new.
the next one is going to be End of Day. And then...
That would be hilariously stupid.
And then the third one will be Happy Birthday.
No, I think because the first... Sam's referencing the first 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, they all had home in the title. I think this is when it's going to be new. They'll all be new something... New Horizons, new Leaf. It'll be like Animal Crossing
for each one.
Not brand new, but
costume. Spider-Man, brand new bag.
Well, because
Spider-Man,
brand new bag,
brand new underwear.
No, because we're gonna do Miles Morales in the 5th one of these, so it'll be new
Spider-Man, brand new Spider-Man,
brand new Spider-Man. But yeah, Sam. Here's my thing. Do you think this makes it?
It has to be called Along Came a Spider. That's what every time they introduce Miles Morales, that's the subtitle every
They're not
time.
doing that. They're not going to do that.
But they've done it, I think, literally every
Do you think this title makes it more or likely that this is a multiverse thing?
I think this title tells us nothing at all. I think this is basically a non-announcement.
I think it tells us what we already know, which is they're going to be refreshing his whole world, new location, new supporting cast, new kind of everything, new suit, giving him a fresh start after everyone in the world forgot who he is, except for Zendaya will still be there because she makes
She's
money.
Gotta be there.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it. Okay, here's the dumbest announcement. This is what they closed with, by the way. So, do you remember the Beatles biopics that they announced to be doing a few years ago?
Disney Plus ones?
No. Sam Mendes.
Right. The Beatles cinematic universe that they were making. Yes.
Of 1917 fame. He's going to direct 4 Beatles biopics, each one about one of the Beatles. He's going to be making them all at the same time.
As I would expect.
They're going to share sets and scenes and cast. All 4 films, all full-length feature films, will all be releasing in April of 2028. They're going to put out 4 Beatles biopics in theaters in 1 month. Sony Pictures CEO Tom Rothman is describing them as the first bingeable cinematic experience.
why do they just like? Why do they hate money so much? Like I know, like usually companies like they try to extract as much value as they can from like the whatever it is they're supposed to do. But like Sony, as far as I'm aware, is like the only anti-company where like their goal is to extract as little possible
to lose as much money as physically possible.
Yeah, like I genuinely think that the CEO of Sony is running some kind of psyop to see how long he can extract as little value from.
Do you think he like? Do you think they like dock his pay when like a movie makes money? Like when Spider-Man 3 is a big hit, do you think they're like, take away 15% of this guy's salary? What is he doing over there? Make another Ghostbusters sequel.
No. I think they get raises based on how much money they lose.
But like,
that's the only way that this could possibly make.
In all seriousness, this is the golden geese of music biopics. These are the most popular, well-known songs ever made, ever, in the history of humanity. Maybe only like...
in the history of songs.
Maybe like Amazing Grace is competing with that. But in terms of...
that's like a church song.
I'm saying like, in general, in all of human history, in terms of pop music... every human being alive who would have access to a movie theater has heard Beatles music. Why on earth are you tanking probably the box office of all 4 films by putting them out? My guess is they're going to put them out all a week from each other. So they'll come out over the course of the whole month. There'll be one every week. That's insane to me. They're just going to eat into each other's box office and all of them are going to tank. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, these are going to fail. How do you even market this?
So, well, here's what they're going to do.
No, genuinely, how do you market that?
I think what you do, and this is, my guess is the justification for it. Since they're already making all 4 at the same time, they'll share one giant production budget. They're going to share the same filmmakers and same cast and crew. So it's basically one giant 4-part movie. If you put them all out in April, you only have to run one marketing campaign. It'll be a really expensive marketing campaign because you're basically going to have to explain to people that there's one Beatles movie coming out, but it's in 4 parts, and you have to go see it over the course of a month. So that will be expensive. But in terms of like overall net savings, this does make sense to me in that like you don't every 3 months have to run another $100 million movie marketing campaign. You can run one big marketing campaign and that's it. So on that level, do you kind of understand their thinking?
Like, how do you convey that? Genuinely, I think it's impossible to convey this.
You have to sell it as like the Beatles Part 1, the Beatles Part 2, the Beatles Part 3, the Beatles Part 4.
You sell a season pass? Like, what is this?
You get a reward for going to all 4. They give you a punch card.
Sony, I am looking for jobs, Sony. I will, whoever you're paying.
So am I. I'll consult.
Ideas. I will work for a quarter.
Hey.
I will work for 1/4 of what you're paying that guy. And I will do his job 8 times better. I promise.
They
That's
also
a guarantee.
They
You can fire me and and reclaim my salary if I can't do 8 times better than him.
The first
Whatever
bingeable
guy's doing
theatrical
that or girl who's doing that right now.
They did announce the cast for this. It's good. This is good. Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr, Harris Dickinson as John Lennon. So 4 very, very hip, very cool little British boys. Is this something? Is this something?
Yeah, it would have. I think it genuinely could have been not the biggest biopic, but it could have probably done like slightly worse than the biggest biopic. With this release structure, no.
I still think
this is not even.
At least one of them will make money. I think the problem is that people are just.
The first one?
It depends on what order they're
The
in.
first one will make $80 million. The first one will make $80 million.
Oh, we don't do
And the
more
other
than...
3 will make $20 million.
Okay. People are going to pick one Beatle and they're going to go see that one. I think that's how this is generally going to work.
Yeah.
They're going to pick their favorite one, and for 90% of people, that's going to be John Lennon or Paul McCartney. So I guess this is finally going to be like the public way of demonstrating who's the most popular Beatle. We're finally going to know now that half of them are dead. Is this just an elaborate...
Is this actually...
Okay, Paul McCartney is like involved.
The most elaborate survey ever conducted.
He's like okaying this. He's checking this off. Paul McCartney is. I think this might be him just trying to, like, on his way out the door because he's 82 years old. Him trying to be like, once and for all, I am the most popular Beatle. The 3 of you can suck it. I'm outie. I think this might be his thing.
Will win.
I think it'll be close.
I think John Lennon will.
I think John Lennon will probably... Okay, this is really dark, and I don't want this to happen. If Paul McCartney dies between now and this movie coming out, it will be Paul McCartney's.
That's not fair.
If not, I think it's John. But John Lennon also died 45 years ago. Can he do that?
Yeah.
He seems...
No, he can't do that.
Hey, he was at SNL 50.
That's too OP.
He was playing guitar. He was hopping around. He seems like he's in very good health.
Will Sony have him assassinated to boost sales?
No, because that would boost sales. They're trying to lose money.
Hold on a minute.
What?
If they pay to have him assassinated...
Oh, my God.
Every single one of these movies is making $250 million.
Just because people will be sad about Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
I mean, they will make more money, I guarantee it, if he dies.
Tony, you're not allowed to take that idea, I think, for legal reasons.
No, I don't think you can do that one.
Think about it.
Don't think about it. Don't do it. Don't kill Paul McCartney, Sony. Anyway, yeah, then they showed some footage of some upcoming movies, but they're not going to make that available to the public. I think tomorrow is Universal for CinemaCon. Expect a Wicked 2 trailer, I would say.
Minions.
You're probably getting...
Expect a lot of Minions.
Yeah, they're going to unveil the new Minions one because there's a new Minions coming out next year, but expect a Wicked for Good trailer tomorrow. All right, let's move on to some Warner Brothers stuff. Sam?
What is the Warner Brothers up to this time?
So
always up to something.
We got a couple smaller stories. One, Coyote v. Acme is coming out. Ketchup Entertainment has purchased the film from Warner Brothers for $50 million. It's getting a theatrical release in 2026.
Gamers, did you know that guy who stood outside the studio with his little free sign dressed as Wile E. Coyote?
Yeah,
dude, he pulled it off.
He did it off.
He did. No one thought he could do it. No one believed in him. I didn't even believe in him.
No,
he pulled it off.
Hey, I don't understand how Ketchup Entertainment works. They seem to be a big money hole. This will probably not make any money at all. I'm happy it's coming out.
Now that Cena has turned heel and, for better or worse, basically intentionally sabotaged his reputation for one last bag.
Mm-hmm.
Will that kind of destroy the movie? Would this movie have made more money if they released it before that?
No.
Isn't he in this movie?
Yeah, no, he is. He's one of the main people.
Yeah, I was under the impression. Yeah, he's one of the main characters.
Sam, you know the thing of him, it's like a WWE bit, right? You know he's...
yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But the kids,
it's not...
the kids aren't going to be oh, now I don't see him.
I think they'll be fine. I think that'll have almost zero effect on this movie's financial performance.
Well, do you think it would have a positive or negative effect?
People are talking about John Cena. People are talking about him. So this is his farewell year. This is his last year in the WWE. So, and this would presumably come out kind of on the tail end of that. So maybe there'll be John Cena hype.
It's possible. I think if he has a Darth Vader Palpatine moment where it turns out
he is playing the villain in this as well.
Secretly a double agent.
He's playing the villain in this.
Yeah.
Will Forte
maybe
is
that
the
works
lead.
then. Maybe that works then.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But that's cool. Zach Kreger, the writer-director of Barbarian, his new multi-story horror epic Weapons is now releasing August 8th. That moves up from January of next year. That's cool. Looking forward to that. That took one battle after another's old spot. Expect probably a trailer for that pretty soon if it's coming out in August. Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which pushed back to March 6th, 2026. That's because that movie is apparently not doing post-production very well. The animated Cat in the Hat film starring Bill Hader, that's going to come out February 27th, 2026. We talked about Sydney Sweeney before. She is going to star and produce in a movie called I Pretended to Be a Missing Girl, based on a Reddit story by a teacher. Eric Roth penning the screenplay, which is about a drifter impersonating a missing girl to rob the girl's family, only to realize she's made a terrible mistake. You're scratching your head. You're a little confused by that one.
No, I'm not confused. It's just dumb.
Do you think the concept is dumb, or the fact that it's based on a Reddit story is dumb?
All of it.
They did okay.
Dumb.
However,
the concept is dumb.
If you're gonna make a
movie, dumb.
If you're gonna make a movie based on a Reddit
movie.
story, they did hire an Academy Award-winning screenwriter to write it. So I feel like that's
dumb.
I don't know how they got him to do
dumb.
that. But yeah. Okay, and then the talk.
This movie will make like $300 million because Sydney Sweeney, and it'll probably be E.T. So
it'll make some. It'll be probably pretty cheap, just a cheap little thriller. So it'll probably turn.
Yeah, like this movie will make money, but like dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb idea. Why?
Okay. The talk of the town. If you are looking at any Hollywood news sources, what everyone's talking about is the fact that Warner Brothers Studios leadership, the head of their film division, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, and we've been talking about it here on the show these past months. They are on the razor's edge. They are probably any minute now gonna be fired. David Zaslav, our favorite guy, very normal man who does normal things. Dave's not going anywhere. I make it clear. Dave is safe. Dave was never leaving. He's fine.
Goodness.
We're keeping Dave.
Our golden boy.
Yes. No. We would never want to... Dave, we love you. Never anything bad happened to Dave. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are probably gone.
We'd have so few stories to talk
Sam,
about
what
Dave.
other parasite billionaire CEOs with zero IQs and only make horrible decisions when we talk about if it were for David Zaslav? He's the only one.
Who's the CEO of Sony Pictures? I feel like we should be giving more hate to him because he's arguably doing a worse job, I think. But we know David Zaslav's name, so we talk about him more.
But anyway, while you're looking that up, so they're in hot water. Bloomberg is reporting that David Zaslav has already begun...
Ravi Ahuja? A-H-U-J-A. Ravi Ahuja.
Okay, put his name up on your op
Put him on
board. Your board of ops.
board.
What is it called?
McDonCast
Op
list.
board, op list.
I don't
Honestly,
know what you're
no.
talking about.
Anyway, so David Zaslav, he's already been meeting with potential candidates to replace them. He is apparently upset over budget mismanagement, which has been a real problem. Every movie they've made and greenlit has gone over budget. Apparently, there are reports that they've been having screaming matches in their office, which obviously that tells them they're not doing very well with each other. And then obviously recent films, Mickey 17, Alto Nights, Joker Filet Adieu, all giant bombs. With the first two,
none of those even made
not
money.
really their fault. Mickey 17, that was greenlit by the old studio heads. Alto Nights, that was David Zaslav's baby project. He okayed that himself, but it's not making any money, so he's probably just going to blame them for that. And then Joker Filet Adieu, that's the big one. That's the big embarrassment, because that was all them. They greenlit that movie
That should have, by all accounts, been a hit.
That should have been a slam dunk. They gave it a colossally unjustifiable budget, and it was the biggest failure in probably cinema history. So that's all them. That's the main thing that got him in trouble. Zaslav apparently wants the studio to focus on making more IP-driven franchise films and less on giving large budgets to auteur filmmakers, which hey, as a person who likes movies and good movies and interesting movies, poopy bad. As a person who understands where the market's at, I get it. So
yeah, but also the Joker is a bit like that's the only IP movie on that
the thing with Joker
bomb.
was they should have had more quality control because Todd Phillips just intentionally made a movie to piss people off and made it cost 4 times as much as the first one. And then, so that one, like, yeah, that was IP that should have made some money, but still. Other than that, like, giant Paul Thomas Anderson film, $80 million Maggie Gyllenhaal Frankenstein thing.
No, those are all
like
absolutely absurd.
$100 million Michael B. Jordan horror
remake.
film that they don't even own the rights to after 15 years. These are all decisions that, like, this is like guy who's out the door greenlighting cool stuff decisions, not recently hired studio heads who have to prove themselves decisions.
Yeah, no, not unless you're trying to like boost your credibility, like quality wise, and even then, Mickey 17 was decent. Alto Nights, I've heard nothing about, and I haven't.
Bad,
so, like,
bad movie, not good,
non-existent.
Very boring and poorly thought out. I will say, they have Minecraft coming up this week. That could probably, that could go a long way with saving their skins. That could help them a lot if that blows up. That could save their jobs.
And they have wait, so that's Warner Brothers.
Okay, well here's the thing. I'm looking at their next couple. So they got Minecraft this week.
Movies can Warner Brothers make?
Like in general, or like this week?
How many?
But they have Minecraft this week. Then after that is Sinners, and Sinners is a big risk. But of all of their like original auteur movies, that's probably got the best chance of working because it's a genre thing.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler is popular. Michael B. Jordan's popular. Vampires are popular. Then they have Final Destination, which is going to turn a profit because it's a cheap horror thing. And then F1 and Superman. F1 more of a risk, but that's also Apple mostly, so they're not really taking the burden of that. And then Superman, that's slam dunk profitable. We'll see how big that is.
Yeah, that's going to make money too.
And then Weapons, which is another horror thing, so probably a profit. And then Conjuring. And Conjuring, that's a guaranteed hit. That's another big IP for them. So, I mean, they could string together a nice, good thing of hits here and potentially save their jobs.
Wins in the chamber.
Yeah,
they definitely have some wins in the pipeline.
But it's decisions like Wuthering Heights, The Mummy, The Bride, Flower Vale Street, Alejandro Inarritu's new film with Tom Cruise.
I don't even know what those words is.
Yeah,
You're saying right now.
It's stuff like that. That's like, probably good. Not gonna make money.
No, 0% chance that makes money.
Do you
anything
want
else from Warner Brothers?
That is it. That is the Warner Brothers talk of the town. It's the fact. Well, they're not going to be fired this week because they have to present on CinemaCon on like Wednesday. So you can't fire them right now, this second. It's not going to be a good for them in the room because they're going to walk out on stage to a crowd of people who know they're probably going to get fired within the next month.
Yeah, and
we'll see how that goes.
Bad if you fire them and then like right when they have a bunch of hits. Really,
I think the reason that this story came out about him interviewing replacements was to just put pressure on them. I think this was intentional by Zaslav. Because this is their gauntlet. The next couple things have to hit, and if they don't hit, they're out. And it's a very quick turnaround because I think they were only hired like 2 years ago. But Joker 2 was a giant setback.
Buster.
Yeah.
That did not help.
Okay, do you want to talk about the Nintendo Direct now?
Let's go directly to the Direct.
Did not watch it because I couldn't.
I did watch it.
I missed the live stream, and then I kind of saw the announcements.
Live, but I went back and watched it. I skipped all the small announcements.
Yeah, I just looked at the big trailers that came out. A small Direct, but I think everyone probably expected that.
Well, it was 30 minutes.
No, not in terms of length. I'm just in terms of like announcements.
Yeah, but there were some notable.
That big game reveal was Tomodachi Life 2. So
but dude, the people have been crying.
There are hardcore
So
Tomodachi
long.
Life fans who are
Bro,
so
that is-
happy.
I think that's the only that and Smash Bros were the only Nintendo 3DS demos that I used 100% of the like little uses on.
I will play a new Tomodachi Life. That looks
Dude,
fun.
Tomodachi Life is such an underrated game.
But I
Like,
think
no,
oh yeah, it's fun.
Its comedy has aged so well. Like, I think it honestly works better now than it did when it came out. But I'm excited for Tomodachi Life. I'll probably play it.
Real quick break, everyone. Sam, are you texting me Rizzler themed Arizona iced tea while
Yes,
recording?
Right. Yeah, you needed to know that right away. Yeah. No, I had Twitter. I have Twitter like pinned in case we get another like
Breaking
thing
news.
from CinemaCon. And
Yeah,
I
and
saw
so
that
you're using that.
Arizona iced tea
You're
was
using that to
recently
look at the
rebranded to
Rizzler tea.
Arizona iced tea with the Rizzler, and he's selling Rizzberry Arizona iced tea. Just thought you needed to know that.
I think society's cooked. I think we're
No,
done.
it's okay.
I think
no,
we're
we're
done.
good. It's
This
all right.
is-
Don't worry about it.
This is a horseman of the apocalypse. That
I
and
don't think so. I think it's fine.
that and Metroid Prime 4 actually coming out. That trailer looks cool.
Yep.
Okay. I think everyone expected this to be smaller because the Switch 2 reveal is coming on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I was surprised by how much stuff they did reveal in it.
I think this is like we have some tiny little things and we just need to get them out there for now.
But
'cause-
this wasn't that like Tomodachi Life did actually sell quite a few units
Well-
on 3DS. It's actually a fairly big game.
It's interesting to me because
Metroid Prime 4 gameplay reveal,
yeah,
and
which
like an
we saw in the
extensive
original
reveal
trailer.
of the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we did get some gameplay, but this was like extensively going into like these are the NPCs, this is the story, these are the powers, this is what's happening. Like this very much goes into what happens in the game. And then Pokemon Legends got a huge trailer where they went into a whole lot of detail about a bunch of different game mechanics. This makes me wonder what is getting like this Switch 2 reveal must be crazy because if I was expecting Metroid Prime 4 stuff to happen there.
Well, what's
'cause that's a big graphic showcase.
What's interesting to me is that they talked about 3 big games. It was Tomodachi Life, Pokemon, and Metroid, and none of them got release dates. They were all just Metroid and Pokemon
Later
were
this
just
year.
2025, and then Tomodachi Life was next year, was 26.
2026. Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't save these for the Switch 2 presentation, because the Switch 2 presentation,
That's what I'm. Yeah.
it's a full direct, so it can't just be like going over the console, because there's not going to be that much to go
Now we
over.
know Mario Kart 9.
Yeah, so
going to be there.
that is going to be their focus, is Mario
that's
Kart.
it.
Okay,
But like they need a couple of.
I think so.
You gotta have something in the.
The thing with the release dates is there's a news story that's been circulating in the gaming world for a couple of weeks, and that is Rockstar is planning on dropping GTA 6 in the summer, and apparently the entire gaming sphere is just planning on clearing out like the entire time when that's happening. Like that game is going to be just such a nuclear bomb in terms of like attention and marketing and player base that the whole industry is just giving that as much space as physically possible. I think that is partially the reason they're not giving us dates. I think the other reason could also be like Metroid Prime 4 could be a launch title, and they're just not telling us when it's coming out because they're going to reveal when the Switch 2 is coming out in 2 days. I think that's also part of it. Pokemon's going to come out in November. Pokemon always comes out in November.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Switch 2 showcase, I think what we're going to get is new Mario Kart and then probably one other big game. And the presentation will be like, we're going to mainly focus on these 2 games. And then also,
what is the
Metroid
other
Prime
game?
4 is a launch title.
Because it's not a Zelda.
3D Mario.
We just got a Zelda.
3D Mario. That's the only big thing. There's a new 3D Mario.
Kart and Mario.
That's
Same-
fine.
same time.
Well, Mario Kart is going to be a launch title. That's going to have to be a launch title. Mario will be the big holiday game, and that'll come in October. So you'll get,
I think you need one more though. I think you need
which is a
one more
huge.
game.
It's huge because the Switch 2 is going to launch in June. I think we pretty much know that for sure at this point. So
Yeah, June 17th. I'm calling the date.
yeah, you'll get the Switch 2 in June, which means you have 6 months remaining in the year, and that'll be 4 AAA mainline Nintendo titles in 6 months. Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legends, new Mario Kart, and mystery game, which is probably a new 3D Mario. That's a lot.
What if it's a new Animal Crossing?
I think it's too early.
What's
Too
that?
early.
4 years ago.
New Horizon, yeah, but like there was like a 8-year gap between New Leaf and New Horizons. They take their time with Animal Crossing.
But New Leaf did not sell even.
No,
half
it wasn't
of what
as
New
big,
Horizons
but
did.
I think they're gonna wait a little on Animal Crossing. I think they're gonna take their time. I think I'm trying to think. When was the last Splatoon? 22? 23?
Splatoon 3 just came out like 2 years ago.
I'm just trying to think. It's not gonna be Zelda. Zelda's not coming for another
No.
7-8 years.
It'll be a decade. It'll be probably towards the end of the Switch 2.
It's a little too soon for. I mean, it could be like a Donkey Kong, but I feel like that's not big enough.
What if it's another Hyrule Warriors?
That's not big enough. That would be lame.
No, but I don't think the third game is gonna be as big as the other two.
Okay, but
Keep in
Metroid.
mind the Switch One had Zelda and Super Bomberman R. So like.
Yeah, but
They had
Zelda
one game
is
that was just
Zelda is like number 4 biggest Nintendo franchise.
Yeah, so we have a Mario Kart and a Mario.
Mario
Those are
Kart's number
big. Those
1.
are huge.
Mario Kart's number 1. Pokemon is coming later in the year, so that's not going to be at launch. And then the Metroid is not a big Nintendo franchise. So like it's big to me who likes Metroid,
Final
but for the
Fantasy
general.
7. Final Fantasy 7 is the other one.
But that's an old third-party game from 4 or 5 years
Final
ago.
Fantasy 7 remake.
I know, but
That
that's
doesn't
still
matter.
old.
That doesn't.
That's going to come out on
Skyrim
this.
was-
Okay,
Skyrim came out in 2012, and that was the launch title for the
Calm
Switch.
down.
Everyone lost over that.
that's going to come to the new Switch, but that's not big enough to focus like 10 minutes of the direct on. It's a game
Yeah,
that's
they
already been
might.
out for 5 years.
They might do that.
That
Yeah,
would
but they
be
might do
dumb. That would be very stupid.
But they might do that.
It's too early for Smash Bros. It's been 8 years since Mario Odyssey, almost. That team's been doing something. Like the new 3D Mario has to be like ready to go. They're just waiting to drop it.
What about that? Okay, do you remember that leak that had all of the Mario information? It was all 100% correct, and that guy was just correct about everything except one thing.
You mean the Switch information? What? Or
No,
are
no,
you
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
Mario?
Remember
I
when
don't know
that
what you're
guy
talking
leaked
about.
That the Mario Anniversary triple 3-in-1 game.
Oh
was gonna
yeah,
release and
3D
ended
All
up
Stars.
happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the one thing that he predicted that didn't end up coming out?
Was it a new 3D Mario?
It was a 3D Donkey Kong game.
See, that's possible. I just feel like if they roll out with, it's been 8 years since Mario Odyssey, and we made Donkey Kong 64 2. I feel like mild disappointment will be the
Nah.
general consensus. I will
Because
play the hell out of a new Donkey Kong.
Here's the
No one's gonna give a
Here's what
shit.
They're not telling you, Tucker. Here's what they're not telling you. This is the twist.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong and Banjo-Kazooie team up game. That's what it is.
Yeah, no one would play that. I mean, I would play that, but no one else would.
Think they
No,
would?
I think it. I mean,
definitely people would play that.
it's definitely possible. It's just Mario Kart. Mario Kart is big enough to where they could get away with it just being Mario Kart.
No, but you can't do a whole direct with just Mario Kart.
Well, it
There's
would
gotta
be
a couple other things.
it would be 25 minutes of look at the Switch, look at all the weird, dumb features we've given it, and then 10 minutes of here's a deep dive into Mario Kart.
Wait, no, because we need a game that does mouse mode. There's got to be one game. That's
Yeah, they'll
just
come up
mouse
with
mode
they'll
per game.
they'll be like the dumb tech demo game. There'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6.
It'll
Switch.
be
Yeah, whatever
1,
the new
2, 3,
dumb
4
tech demo
Switch.
game they've invented is. Yeah, they'll do that, but like that's not a real game.
Mario mouse.
Maybe a
Mario
new-
typed mouse game.
Well, no, I think what they'll do is in Mario Kart 9 there will be some sort of like customization feature that you can use the mouse thing for. You'll be able to use the touch. You know what? Mario Maker 3.
What? Could be Mario Maker.
Mario Maker
no,
3.
Triple dipping Mario games?
No, that would be double dipping. No 3D Mario, Mario Maker 2, and Mario Kart, or Mario Maker 3 and Mario.
There's
Kart.
going to be a 3D Mario. I think.
So
3D
you're saying there is a 3D Mario.
happen.
You're saying that is going to happen.
It'll either be Donkey Kong or 3D Mario.
Okay, I agree with you.
And Donkey Kong is functionally Mario.
I think there is a possibility that they were doing a Donkey Kong game and it got scrapped. Because it's been like 2.5 years since that leaked, and there's been not a sign of it.
Yeah, but I could totally see they were just pushing it for the Switch too.
I think that's possible, but I don't know. I feel like people are going to be upset if the Mario Odyssey team has been making Donkey Kong this whole time, and we have to wait another like 5 years for Odyssey for a new 3D Mario. That's crazy.
Consider this.
Yes.
What other video game company would spend 8 years making a Donkey Kong 3D game instead of Mario?
You know, Sam, you've got a good point.
Nintendo might just do it.
Why would we make it a follow-up to one of our most successful things we've ever done when we can do funny monkey banana game?
We can do when we can do Funky Kong 3.
Funky Kong 3D. I
think that would actually make a lot of sense, because I think a 3D Donkey Kong game wouldn't be a huge hit on its own, but if it was a launch title for the Switch 2,
but I don't
3D Donkey Kong could absolutely be huge.
I think whatever the other game is that isn't Mario Kart won't be a launch title. I think you'll get Mario Kart 9 and Metroid Prime 4, because that's like your big multiplayer game and then your single player game. That'll be the launch. And then you get kind of a break in the summer, probably some smaller stuff. And then you end the year with Pokemon and 3D platformer, Mario or Donkey Kong, whichever one it is.
I don't know if Metroid Prime 4 got that kind of motion, though. I think, honestly, Donkey Kong got more motion than...
Oh, well, no, Donkey Kong would be bigger. That's why you'd save that one for Christmas. And you put Metroid out with Mario Kart 9.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think the big draw with Zelda on the Switch, and the original Switch when that launched, was that, like... You could take it everywhere, and it was a big single-player game, so you could be working your way through Zelda when you were riding the bus. You'll be able to do the same thing with Metroid.
There was one other thing.
Yeah, any other direct announcements you want to get through before? Okay. Because we got to talk about this Avengers cast.
Did you see the Topic Arlo video about the Nintendo Switch 2 edition?
No, I did not see that.
So on Nintendo's website, they posted an article that they then took down shortly afterwards.
Oh, they didn't.
That referred to a console called the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
Very dumb name, which makes me think it's real.
Exactly.
What do we think that is?
I think they're changing the OLED branding to Edition, and I think it will be a Switch 2 OLED, and that will be one of the launch. I think they will launch with a OLED model.
So there will be the Switch 2 and then the Switch 2 OLED?
Mm-hmm. But they'll call it the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
I mean...
Yeah, so this is from Tom's Guide, which they're a...
Makes sense, I guess.
...hardware guy.
That's a big... There's going to be like, what, then? 5 Switch consoles in the market at once? That's kind of crazy. That'll be a lot. Switch Lite at 200, Switch 1 at 300, Switch OLED at 350,
Nintendo
Switch 2 at 4,
mentioned...
Switch Edition
that
at 450.
they will be releasing updates that would get graphics updates for the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
That could just be a typo where it's like there will be graphic boosts for Switch 2 Edition games.
That's a proper noun. That's a proper noun.
I don't know. It might just be what they're calling like the upscaling feature.
That could be.
Yeah.
But then that would also confirm what I was theorizing before with Nintendo giving the Switch, like giving base Switch games updates.
Yeah.
Like graphics updates.
I think everyone kind of expects that.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't think it would be an OLED thing is just because I feel like it would have leaked. Like we would know from like manufacturing that they're producing OLED screens for it. That's what happened with the Switch OLED the first time. So that's what I would just think.
Could be.
Anyway, Sam, are you ready to talk about this Avengers Doomsday cast?
Let's get in.
Okay.
To Doomsday.
So before we get to the people, let's real quick touch on the reveal itself. which was a 5.5-hour live stream
I
of the
think
backs of chairs.
the single dumbest, poorly thought out, poorly done,
But effective.
reveal in cinema history. I think this is the single lamest way they could have possibly done it. They could not have done this in a worse way. I genuinely don't think they could have done this in a worse way. A worse way. With the exception
I agree
of, like,
with
just,
you for the most part.
like posting a list on like the Disney Plus website, I don't think there's a worse way.
I agree with you for the most part. It worked though. It was like the number one thing trending on social media for like 6 straight hours. So
yeah, but that's because people
it
are
worked.
stupid and not because it's a good idea.
But that's what matters. And there was like, they put out like the other day that it was like their most engaged with social media thing they've ever done. So it worked.
Yeah, well, if Disney had done any live stream for 5 hours, it would be their most interacted with.
But yeah, no,
Thing
it was
ever
dumb. I didn't even watch a single second of it. I was just like, I'm gonna wait for the full list to come out and then I'll look at it. And then that's exactly what I did.
I had no incentive to watch that whatsoever.
They put out a video of it going at normal speed after it was all done. It was like 3 minutes long, and that was
yeah.
that was one of the only real pieces of news from this, and that was that there's a new Alvin Silvestri Avengers theme for the new movies, which is cool.
There is.
Yeah, it's like a mix. It kind of mixes a bunch of the themes together. Like you get like some of the X-Men overture like put into the Avengers theme. It's like one big mashup.
Cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, Sam, let's go through this cast. We'll talk about what we're shocked by, what we're not shocked by, and then I have a ginormous list of omissions that I'm happy to run through with you.
There was also an update from today, but we'll get there when we talk about the X-Men stuff.
Yeah. So. Oh, no, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. No, go away. Go away. No, stop. Stop. Go back to my list. Go back to my list. I'm having Google Docs issues. Anyway, okay, here we go. This is not in reveal order. I've grouped them into, like, which subsection they're in. So...
Yeah, what franchise they are from.
Yeah, so we got the OG Marvel cast, which is Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, and then Robert Downey Jr. obviously as Doctor Doom. I'd say out of those, I think the big surprise is Tom Hiddleston. I did not expect him to be coming back, I don't think. I'm looking forward to that.
Here's why he will be back.
Well, because they got to go to the big chair.
That is a big maybe. I think the reason he will be back is because the Void... Or whatever what's the place that they send the rejects?
Well, he's in charge of. Oh, yeah, it's called the Void, I think.
From the TVA.
Yeah. I think it's just called the Void.
I think the Void will be part of Battle World, and I think the Loki gang will be there.
I think that's possible. I think it's gonna be a thing where like Doctor Doom's gonna attack the multiverse tree, or someone's gonna go after the multiverse tree, and he's sitting at the base of that. So, if the multiverse starts to blow up, I'm guessing he'll
shot and die. That's lame.
No, I think he'll be beat up, and then he'll like run back to the main universe, and he'll be like, Thor, you gotta help me. Doctor Doom's coming.
Oh, he'll be the Hulk of this.
Yeah. And Thor will be like, oh my gosh, Loki, I thought you were dead, and then we'll get like 5 minutes of that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And then okay, well we'll get to that when we get to sessions. And then we got some of the newer Marvel people, so some of the phase 4, 5, 6, whatever we're in, which is Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Letitia Wright as Black Panther, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Tenoch Huerta as Namor, and then Danny Ramirez as the Falcon.
Okay.
Danny Ramirez, waste of a spot,
right.
Lame character. Falcon sucks. He doesn't do anything.
He'll only be
He's useless.
3-minute movie.
I've never seen,
He's gonna make.
When I see cannon fodder characters, Falcon's one of them. M'Baku, not sure what he's doing here, but cool, I guess. I know he's king of Wakanda now.
Movie.
Well, he's king of Wakanda now. So.
He will die in this movie.
I don't think he'll die, because then who's king of Wakanda?
I think he will die in this movie.
And then Namor's here for some reason.
The fan base likes him enough to recognize him, but he's not important enough that he needs to be alive.
Why is Namor back? What do we do? Who cares about Namor?
He's got a
Does he have a trident? Did he have a trident?
He's here.
Yeah, he's here.
He did have a stick.
I think he had a stick, right? DC probably has some sort of trademark on that. Okay, and then we have the Thunderbolts. So Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier / White Wolf / a U.S. Congressman. Florence Pugh as Black Widow. David Harbour as Red Guardian. Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. And Lewis Pullman as Bob / the Sentry. Just straight up spoiling the movie Thunderbolts.
Taskmaster dies in.
No,
in
what?
Thunderbolts.
No, Sam. I'm sure she's just mysteriously absent. She's just not in any of the.
Dies.
She's only in one scene in the trailer, and she's just not in this movie for reasons.
And did you see in the new trailer they released?
There was a shot she was in, and she's not in anymore.
And CGI'd out of it.
Yeah.
Or she was CGI'd into it.
Yeah.
at some
So
point.
not only did they spoil the fact that she's obviously going to die, but also now we know that Sentry is going to be sticking around. So that's something, I guess.
And he'll be a good guy. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
all four of them are here.
Yeah.
All
Pedro
the
Pascal is
four.
Mr.
Four
Fantastic.
guys are here.
Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn as Human Torch. Ibn Mas Bacharach as the Thing. He is not returning as his character Micro from the TV series The Punisher. Nor is he returning as his character Cousin from The Bear. And then we have miscellaneous members of the X-Men. So we have Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, James Marsden as Cyclops, Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, and Channing Tatum is coming back as Gambit. Several shockers here. One, the fact that they
are all guys from the
OG Fox X-Men.
X-Men universe,
the
right?
OG Fox X-Men, which I think we all expected to be in one of these movies. I'm surprised they just straight up said they're going to be in Doomsday. That seems like that would be the thing you would want to keep secret for the movie itself.
This should have been a massive reveal, and now it's just kind of lame.
James Marsden, I'm glad that he's back. Kelsey Grammer, I mean, he was in the Marvels for like 2 seconds, so I'm not surprised he's back. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler is fascinating because that character is like famous for being agile and like running around on the walls and stuff, and Alan Cumming is a 60-year-old man. So I don't know if they're just going to CGI him
CGI
now.
body is capable of amazing things.
Rebecca Romaine is Mystique. Good for her, I guess. That's cool. They're definitely going to give her the suit, so you'll finally see her.
They can't.
You're
going
to
to
see.
naked.
You're going to see all these
Marvel
X-Men characters finally put on their actual costumes. Expect that to be a thing.
Suits,
Yeah. Channing Tatum as Gambit. I guess that was like what did people like from Deadpool and Wolverine that we can put in this movie? They liked Channing Tatum. I guess we'll keep him around, I guess.
And Ryan Reynolds is busy doing lawsuits or something.
Yeah, he'll have a cameo. We know he'll have a cameo. Come on, let's be real. Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, both very, very old men. Ian McKellen, I believe, will be 87 when this film hits theaters.
Yeah.
That's very old. I know he'll mostly just
If
stand
their
there.
characters do not die in this movie, there is a very good chance that the actors will not make it to make the second.
I mean, easier for Patrick Stewart. He just has to sit in a chair and like put his fingers to his temple every few minutes. So not hard for him, but I am excited to watch Patrick Stewart die as this character for the 4th time on screen. So that's something to look forward to.
Bro just cannot catch a break.
He died in Last Stand.
Has he died more times than any other Marvel character on screen?
On screen, I mean, Loki's faked his
think so.
death like several times, but Professor X has actually died at least 4 times or 3 times.
Yeah.
He died in
I don't
Last
think anyone's
Stand.
died as many times.
He died in Logan, and then he died in Multiverse of Madness. So, excellent track record for Mr. Sir Ian McKellen, or Sir Patrick Stewart, the poop emoji voice actor.
I don't even think... Are there any characters that have, like, revived themselves?
Revived themselves?
I think so.
Well, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
came
like,
back.
died...
Hugh Jackman died once in Logan. I think that's the only time he's died.
Yeah, but he didn't... Yeah, so...
Deadpool died like 50 times at the beginning of Deadpool 2, so I don't know if you count that.
Those... Well, but... Yeah, but... Well, yeah, because he went to heaven. So
Yeah, he went to heaven for like a second. Okay, before we get to the absences, I think why do you think they did this? Well, what do you? Because I think I know why, but I'm interested to ask what you think that there was the reasoning behind revealing all of
So
this now.
I think
Because the reason they did this is because they're starting production. They're not shooting yet. They start shooting in April. They're still building sets, and there is no script. There's not a finalized script. They're starting shooting next month with no script, or no finalized script, and the film comes out in a year.
I think I can best summarize why they did this by playing some audio, Frank.
Is it gonna get a copyright strike or claim?
I'm not gonna play a lot. But I do need to switch my output to the speakers.
This is the best part of the podcast when we do moving around tabs on our computers.
It has to be done.
I'm sure it's a great bit.
Okay, can you hear what's playing right now?
I hear nothing.
No. Okay. Well,
The Smash Bros theme is playing. So this is just because this is to do this. They're trying to do the Smash Bros trailer. They're doing an "Everyone is here" moment.
But they don't. But they don't have everyone.
Not everyone is here, so it just kind of falls flat, and it's also stupid.
Okay.
I think the reason they're doing this is to just be like, look, these are all the guys these are the guys you know. These are the guys, they're gonna be here.
I think it's also because
guys.
who is like 60% of the characters they revealed? It's the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts, and what are the two movies coming out in the next 3 months? Yeah. It's to get you to go see those.
They also said, I think it was in a Variety article or something, or it was in some article.
Yeah.
They said that there are actually more people planned to be in the movie, but they
yeah.
have not finalized their deals
contracts
yet.
These are the people who have signed on.
We know Halle Berry is close to finalizing some kind of deal to be Storm.
Okay. So now we get to the list of absences, because I'm sure there are a lot of those people who aren't currently signed onto the movie are in this list. So I have formed a 2-page list. It's comprehensive. I went back all the way to phase 1, and I was like, who could show up in this movie? So living characters, no Natasha, no Tony Stark, no Chris Evans. I was like, who are characters that we have focused on recently that could show up in this new film? Okay. And who aren't confirmed to be in it. So we have Tom Holland, Spider-Man, not in this announcement. We have Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong as Wong, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, Paul Bettany as Vision, Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Wonder Woman, no Mark Ruffalo Hulk, no Tatiana Maslany She-Hulk. We have Ant-Man, but no Evangeline Lilly the Wasp, no Sam Jackson Nick Fury, no your favorite character Emilia Clarke's Gaia, not in this announcement. No Don Cheadle.
Also, Stature is not here either.
We'll get to her. No Don Cheadle War Machine. No Danai Gurira Okoye or Midnight Angel or whatever she became at the end of Black Panther 2. No Owen Wilson as Mobius. No Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter or Captain Carter. No Chris Evans as Captain America or the Human Torch. No Jeffrey Wright's The Watcher. No Devery Jacobs Kaori.
No, Chris Evans was confirmed.
Not in this announcement, but it was in the trades that he was in it, and then he said he's not.
Yeah.
He is, but he's going to deny that he's in it, and they're going to try to hide it. And then we break into the groups. So these are the Young Avengers not present. Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez, Joe Locke as Wiccan, Kate Bishop as Hawkeye, Riri Williams as Ironheart, Catherine Newton as Stature. And then we get to the X-Men characters who are missing, and that's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Famke Jensen as Jean Grey. Jean Grey's not here. And then Halle Berry as Storm is not here either. And then we get to the Thunderbolts that are missing, and that's Olga Korylenko as Taskmaster, the only Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Not present. And I guess no Thunderbolt Ross, no Red Hulk. And then all 3 of the Marvels are missing, which is fascinating. No Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. No Tiana Paris as Photon or Spectrum or whatever her Monica Rambeau's superhero name is. No Aman Vellani as Miss Marvel. That's weird because the only setup we've gotten for this movie involves Tiana Paris's character from the Marvels being in the X-Men universe with her mom as whatever her name is, who is also not confirmed to be in this. So that's interesting. All the Midnight Suns are not here. No Mahershala Ali as Blade. No Kit Harington as Black Knight. No Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. No Gael Garcia Bernal as Werewolf by Night. A lot of nights. No Laura Donnelly as Elsa Bloodstone. No Carrie Jones as Man-Thing. And then Sam, which I'm not surprised by those. I don't expect them to be in any of this. They're kind of in their own weird corner. I don't think you can really merge them over. And then Blade is just never happening. That's never going to be a real thing.
Yeah.
Sam, the Eternals are missing. No Eternals. No mention of the Eternals. No Gemma Chan as Cersei. No Angelina Jolie as Thena. No Barry Keoghan as Druig. No Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo. No Leah McHugh as Sprite. No Lauren Ridloff as Makari. No Harry Styles as Eros. And definitely not any Patton Oswalt as Pip the Troll. Are you surprised there's no Eternals here?
I'm surprised Kumail Nanjiani isn't. I figured if one of them
they were going to bring one of them back, it would be him. Yeah. Or Gemma Chan, who plays the main one, and who was responsible for the big island of adamantium or whatever.
And of course, we can't forget the only on-screen Marvel sex scene.
Of course. Remember when they?
I don't. I'm not.
Are you going to be sad that Harry Styles won't be there?
No.
And then we have no Defenders, so no Alako Cox as Echo, no Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and then no John Bernthal as the Punisher. I think we all expected that. I feel like if they showed up in this, they would be practically useless to fight Doctor Doom. So,
yeah, what do they do?
What is Punisher? We need you to shoot him with
I need you to distract Kang.
Punisher, we need you to shoot Doctor Doom with a regular gun. Okay, and then one that was actually surprising. No Guardians of the Galaxy at all. No, none of the new teams, so no Rocket, Groot, Adam Warlock, Cosmo, Kraglin, or Phyla. And then none of the old team that's still around, so no Star-Lord, which that was the biggest one. I was waiting for them to show Chris Pratt's chair. And no Star-Lord, no Nebula, and no Mantis. So,
you know what?
That's fascinating.
Is anyone from those concept art leaks in this reveal?
Other than Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm and Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that every single person from that reveal, from that leak, is not in this list.
I do expect these movies to focus on different characters. Like, I'm expecting a Infinity War Endgame structure where we have this giant cast in Infinity War, and then we narrow it down to like 9 people in Endgame. We'll do the same kind of thing here once we make Battle World. But still, the fact that so many major characters are not announced in this is really odd, especially since they have filled like half the slots with the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's clamoring for more U.S. Agent or more Red Guardian. I don't think they're in high demand.
Aside from Sentry,
3 of the people in this cast are Captain America.
What are they supposed to do? Shoot Doctor Doom with a normal gun?
Some of these people have to be cannon fodder.
Sentry's the only one of them that does anything.
Some of these people have to kill some people for stakes. And I expect those to be
I could see
M'Baku,
I could see this being Bucky
Falcon. I think you're right. I think Bucky's on his way out.
Because
most of the Thunderbolts, Ghost, Red Guardian, and Bucky, I think are all goners. I think Paul Rudd as Ant-Man is done. I think he's ready to be done with this. He's like in his mid-50s. Thor,
and that would kind of nicely tie off the ending of Ant-Man 3, where he's like, everything is happy and I'm gonna be fine.
Loki is done. I think Tom Hiddleston's done with this. He wants to move on. I think probably the same thing with Chris Hemsworth. Then Fantastic Four, they'll all be around. The entire OG 2000s X-Men cast is going to die. That's just going to be a thing. The main part of Secret Wars, or the inciting incident of the Secret Wars comic.
Wait. Channing Tatum doesn't die.
Oh, yeah, he'll be fine.
Because he has to be the one that is in the ones that.
There's the popular one that people liked from Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
That movie made $1 billion. The plot of the Secret Wars comic, or like the inciting incident where we pick up when that comic begins, is that the only two remaining universes after a series of incursions that have destroyed the entire multiverse are the Ultimate Marvel Universe and the main Earth 616 Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
My guess is by the end of Doomsday, where we're gonna, I guess when this movie starts, because I'm guessing Secret Wars is going to be all Battle World. So I guess Doomsday will be the two remaining worlds are the Fox X-Men universe and our main Earth 616 universe, and we're going to collide those two, plus the Fantastic Four characters, and we'll be running around as those two universes are about to implode, and then when they do implode, we'll mix those characters for Secret Wars. At the end of Secret Wars, we'll reboot this whole thing. Bye-bye OG X-Men, who are all 90 years old and going to die of various old age-related diseases in real life in 2 years.
Yeah.
Hello, new, hip, young, cool cast. Very, very popular on Instagram.
But not the same as the other old, new.
No,
hip, young
not
cast.
the new old, hip,
new
young cast. New, hip, young cast. Also, Ryan Reynolds will still be there, and Channing Tatum will still be there.
The old, new, hip, young cast will not be here.
Maybe Hugh Jackman, but probably not. Who's not in this?
Yeah.
Where's Hugh Jackman?
He'll be.
Where is he?
He's around.
He'll be in it. He's wanting that number to be bigger. So is Halle Berry is Storm. Halle Berry's going, I want a big check. Give me a bigger check. That's the reason they're holding out. Kelsey Grammer's like, I'm doing voiceover. I don't even have to be there. Cool, I'll take whatever. But Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry, they know they can fleece Marvel out of like $20 million each. So they'll be there. This movie's going to cost $1 billion to make.
It might. It genuinely might.
Robert Downey Jr. alone is getting...
Isn't Robert Downey Jr. making like 80 million?
He's getting 100. He's getting 100 for both, which means he's getting about 50 for each one.
Yeah, that's like the budget.
Which is 1/6 of the budget of Infinity War. And this is probably going to cost
how much was
more
Infinity
than...
War?
I think Infinity War was like 300. It might have been even more.
Yeah, so that's like a third. So they're paying Robert Downey Jr. a whole Marvel movie.
Yeah, basically.
Like a one person Marvel movie.
Yeah. So this is probably going to cost like $450-500 million. Will it make $2 billion?
Yeah, easy.
No.
It'll make like 1.7.
Oh, it'll make $1 billion. 1.
Yeah.
1.7.
It'll make well over $1 billion.
I think
it'll
Secret
make like 1.8, 1.7.
I mean, there's no way this is good, which is the main holdup. So
I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it'll be like 6 or 7.
okay.
I think it'll just.
But
be
if we think about it though,
movie.
they're shooting next week and there's no script. They have a year to shoot and do VFX for the entire thing and edit the movie. We're having to do 5.5-hour live stream cast announcements to get people to go see Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which are the movies that lead directly into this. It's going to cost $500 million to make each one. And then the Russo brothers' track record recently is hot, stinky, flaming trash fire doo-doo. The Electric State's bad. It's really bad. I didn't even finish it. I watched an hour and I was like, I can't. I can't do this right now. And I just turned it off and I haven't gone back and finished it.
I don't think the reputation of the Russo brothers really matters, though.
I'm not talking about reputation.
Not even
I'm talking about the movies themselves have been bad. Like, they have not made good movies in 6 years.
But they've kind of never made good movies. They kind of only made Avengers.
Those were the only movies they made.
Yeah.
They were making those, and they were doing really good, but they were making very good episodes of TV, which is how they got this job in the first place. And then they spiraled that into directing a bunch of very bad movies.
Exactly. But hang on. Because they're just making 2 episodes of the Marvel TV show.
True. But before, they at least had a screenplay when they started shooting. And they had more than 1 year.
That's true.
They only have so Infinity War and Endgame and the Civil War and Winter Soldier, which were the other movies they directed, the other Marvel movies, were written by Christopher Marks and Stephen McFeely. They have half of them. They have only Stephen McFeely. They have half of the writers, literally. They have half the writers, half the amount of time, twice the amount of money, and like 4 times the amount of characters, and like 3 times the amount of story. I mean, the story, this is a way bigger story, way more complicated than Infinity War Endgame. Like, they're juggling chainsaws right now. There's no way they don't saw their hand off, and this is not good. I'm taking your silence as full agreement.
I don't know.
I think you are still running off of a small amount of faith in Marvel to produce not garbage, and I have almost 100% given up on that part.
I think it'll be a 7 out of 10. I think it'll be fine.
You think that's what they're aiming for?
Yeah.
I think they're trying to get this over with. I think they're just going to try to power through this.
This is the home runs. They just got to do it good enough that it doesn't permanently ruin the brand.
This is drag.
And then they can go and they can do reboot, which is what happens after this. After this is reboot.
So there were rumors this past week that the original plan for this, when it was Kang Dynasty, was all the Avengers were going to split into little teams, like in Infinity War, and they were all going to go after one of the Kang variants, like one of the big ones, like Immortus or Ramatut or whatever. And then Kang Dynasty would end with Kang the Conqueror, the main one, returning, forming Battle World to save the universe from the oncoming threat. Because you know how the whole thing with with the One Who Remains is he was like, I have to stop the Kangs from warring with each other because to protect the world from bigger threats that'll come.
Kang will be and kill everyone.
Apparently, the plan was first Infinity Saga Thanos, second Saga Kang. At the end of Kang, he would have been like, now that you've defeated me, I can't protect you from that even bigger threat. And the even bigger threat for the next saga would have been Doom. And apparently they've had to move that up.
Straight to Doom.
So we're scrapping the Kang thing, and then we're moving what would have been the next, not even phase, the next saga into the end of this one. And then we're going to have to, I guess, come up with something else for what comes next in 2028 through
I think you
our death.
Have to reboot after this.
Well, I think there was always going to be a soft reboot, but what we're going to do in terms of our big plot line, they're going to have to rethink.
I don't think there's any other way.
You have to you soft reboot, but just because you're soft rebooting doesn't mean you can just do the Infinity Saga again. You have to do another thing.
No, yeah, you still have to. But okay, once we soft reboot, that gives us X-Men guys.
Yeah.
You can do so many. There's so many big bad X-Men.
Yeah, you do Apocalypse or Mr. Sinister or Days of Future Past again.
There are big bads.
Dark Phoenix for a third time if you really feel like it.
We have Fantastic Four now. They have Galactus. We can.
But we're doing only Galactus and but we're
already doing him kinda, but we can do him big bad again. It's fine.
It's not a big bad. He can't be a big bad. He's got no plan.
He's the big bad.
They gotta have a big plan.
He's just the final boss guy.
His big plan
is he eats Earth.
That's boring.
That's his plan.
That's boring.
Okay. Thanos' plan was kill half of
But you know what?
Half of the guys.
He gave a lot of big speeches, and he had to get all those magic rocks.
Okay, so have Silver Surfer give a speech.
Oh, that's going to be a whole thing. Silver Surfer's a woman now. Are you ready for that?
He can give a whole speech about how you cannot resist because he's a force of nature and he destroyed my world.
Yeah,
he's gonna get you now.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Avengers.
I think I don't see a way post Secret Wars that is not a full reboot of the MCU.
It will not be full.
I think that's also the only way to really get the X-Men characters into this.
I mean,
yeah, there will still be a couple characters that carry over. I think for some reason,
the ones who are under 42.
Channing Tatum, Gambit will carry over for no reason. Spider-Man will carry over.
Yep.
A random grab bag of Avengers will carry over, and then everything else will be reset. We won't redo origins. Well, we might redo. Yeah, I don't think we'll redo origin stories, but I think almost everyone's getting recast. and like starting over.
I don't know if I think it's just gonna be people who are under 42. If you're under that age, you're fine. So if you're like Florence
Yeah,
Pugh,
that's
or
what I'm thinking.
if you're Florence Pugh or Anthony Mackie, you're probably fine. But you know, you're Mark Ruffalo, who's like 50 something, and he's playing the Hulk. Like, yeah, he's probably on his way out.
Yeah, and also the version of the Hulk now is not even the Hulk. It's just
He's
a guy.
Smolk. He's not in this apparently.
It's just Green Man. He's
Oh,
just
and then
Green Man.
we're gonna age up T'Challa's son, so he's an adult now.
Yeah,
And then we'll recast all the X-Men because all the Fox actors are older than my grandpa.
and that gives us plenty of things. We got lots more.
Then we
things
can do so
after
many
that. We can do
things.
Wolverine.
We can make Marvel movies
we can do a
forever.
Wolverine movie. We can do new Iron Man movie. We can do.
Yay.
We can do so many things. We can do Spider-Man fights Wolverine. We can do Wolverine fights the new Hulk, and we'll have a new Wolverine and a new Hulk, and we can actually do his thing where he fights the Hulk.
I imagine how this is how Kevin Feige runs like meetings at this point. Is he just walks in and he's just like, I don't know, Hulk fights Ant-Man. He's just racking his brain for ideas. Rocket Raccoon teams up with Black Widow.
Do we keep the Fantastic Four? Do we keep them in the reboot?
I mean,
even
you
keep
did
them
just
around at all?
cast them. I mean,
Are we
Vanessa,
just done with
they're
them?
all they can all do it for like another 10 years, except for Pedro Pascal, who's like 56 years old. Which is why I question that
his
decision.
son can replace him. We can have he'll
Oh, you know what? You know
so
how
it'll still be 4
if I was a lazy hack writer, you know how I'd do that? I'd recast the role and I'd just have him be like, "Oh, I stretched my face into looking younger, like a different man."
So
And
you
just
mean
do that.
exactly like what they did in the Flash show?
Well, no, because that show they had his face get melted and put him in a Daft Punk helmet, and then he left the show and was never mentioned again as he went to go fight crime in another city.
Yeah.
Do you think Pedro Pascal will? You know what? I hope that's what they do. I hope the recast is all of the old actors leave to go fight crime in another city.
Yeah, I don't know. The only version of this I see that makes sense is where they reboot after. But if they just keep going,
Well,
I think
they'll
Marvel-
do
I
both.
think it's
They'll
just
be
fine.
resetting stuff, and they will keep going at the same time. Because you can't throw everything away, because then the
Yeah.
people who have been watching
yeah.
for 20 years get
Something
upset.
like-
So
You have to throw out more than you keep, though. Like,
yeah,
you have to do 52.
but that's
You kinda
mostly
just
out
have
of
to.
necessity. Just because, like, no, you can't.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you just gotta
RDJ's
reset.
gonna be 60 when Secret Wars comes out, or he might be 62, I think. So like, no, he's not coming back as Iron Man, and you have to pay him the GDP of New Guinea, so
In order to get them to come back.
to get him to come back.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the Avengers cast announcements. Sam,
Oh,
if anything else, any
so should we
Rizzler
talk about-
bland drinks to discuss?
we should probably talk now about Spider-Man, about if it takes place on Battleworld.
Yeah, we had a lengthy discussion about this like 2 weeks ago or last
But
week.
I think after all of this, yeah, definitely it does. Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
you're right, which I don't think that's a good decision. However, it makes sense. I think it
Especially if he's not
lines up
in.
that if he's not in this Brand
Might
New
not be because he's
Day,
doing-
because he's shooting too much stuff right now. So I think
Yeah.
it's perfectly possible that he's not in this, and then we get like a side story.
And I think
What's Spider-Man up to during
post-credit
Doomsday?
scene,
Okay, well,
post-credit scene, Spider-Man gets to Doom Planet.
it could also be, instead of taking place on Battleworld, it could be an Ant-Man and the Wasp situation where it takes place at the same time. So it's him running around
I
as
could
the
see
universe
that.
is imploding instead of like after. And the only reasoning I would think they would do that is just to save all the Battleworld reveals for the Secret Wars movie. Like, because for that they're gonna be like the Thor
Yeah.
Corps and Hulktown and all this crazy stuff, and you want to save that for Secret Wars and not like have to do all that, had to like spoil all that in Spider-Man. And you could still get like, if the universes are still colliding in Brand New Day, you can still have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire show up, which is what Sony wants to happen. So
Okay, so if they do that, I think Spider-Man: A New Day will have like a legit like a 20-minute post-credit scene. And
Like
it'll be
Marvel MCU record for longest post-credit scene.
Yeah, and it'll be basically like Invincible, where like sometimes the post-credit scenes are like half the episode.
Yeah.
And it will be Battleworld gets made, Spider-Man is there, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm on Battleworld."
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think you could definitely use it to tease all the cool stuff you have coming in Secret Wars. You're like,
Yeah.
why are all these Thors flying around? Why is everyone dressed like a medieval person?
Especially because
Why is there a big statue of Dr.
If the focus
Doom?
is going to be on like Spider-Man, Dr. Doom dynamic relationship thing, definitely you need. If we're not going to set that up in this movie, it's got to happen in Spider-Man, doesn't it?
I guess.
Like that reveal with
but
the
you
mask,
also then have
where
to
he takes the
pay
mask
him.
off.
You have to pay Robert Downey Jr. to be in Spider-Man.
That is true.
And he's going to want even more money for that. So
That's true.
you got to pick your battles. I mean, I guess it could be a thing where like she's a picture of Doctor Doom and he's like, why does he look like Tony Stark? Ah. You could do that.
That reveal has to
But that
reveal
would
has
have
to- he has
very
to
little
be there.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be in the same room.
Yeah, he's got to be there when that reveal
Or the characters have
happens.
to be in the same room. I'm guessing Robert Downey Jr. is going to film all of his scenes in a green screen closet at his house.
He has to give the biggest, evilest speech and then take his helmet off, and Peter goes, "Oh, Dad!" And that's got to be what happens.
You know, if they're having script trouble, it seems like we got this pretty well worked out. We could probably do the touch-ups, finish up that draft for
Yeah.
him. This thing kind of writes itself. We're just
That's
looking.
the thing. That's why I'm not super concerned that they don't have like that they're starting to film without a script because it seems
mean,
like at least for
It
this,
writes itself, but they've been
'cause
writing it for
Battleworld
5 years.
No. Hang on though, because Battleworld gets formed in this movie.
At the end of this movie, yeah.
No, because half the cast is X-Men.
Well, no, but yeah, you'll get Battleworld.
You think it takes place on two different Earths, and then at the end
They'll
they
be
fuse?
the whole movie will be them, the incursion between them. So you'll get characters running back and forth and splitting up, and yeah, that's why it's Doomsday. Doomsday is the incursion, and Doctor Doom is there.
Yeah.
It's got double meaning. Double meaning, and then you'll get Battleworld because Battleworld is its own whole thing.
Yeah, well, Battleworld will be the result.
Yeah, it'll be the result of because Battleworld is like several universes, more than just those two pulled together.
But in this case, it'll be like these two, because maybe Fantastic Four.
How are we? I still don't know how we're doing the Molecule Man stuff or the Doctor
don't.
Doom gets
Yeah,
God
skip
powers
it.
stuff. How is he gonna get God powers? That's what I'm confused about.
He kills Galactus and takes his powers.
But Galactus doesn't have like universe making powers.
He does in this one.
That is, I believe, completely antithetical to Galactus's sole purpose as a character. That's the opposite of what he does. The complete opposite in every way, shape, and form.
No, but he divvies up. He like hands out universe altering powers.
Galactus?
Remember Cosmic Spider-Man?
I mean, yeah, he gives people like the power cosmic, but he does that so he can eat planets. Not
Yeah, but
really to
my
like
point
make
is-
them.
He has the potential to be a reality altering thing, and I could assume Doctor Doom shows up and he goes, "I'm gonna use your power even better than you."
Do we
and
think they could
take
give
your
the
powers.
power to like the Watcher and like he kills the Watcher? Oh, you know what? He'll get it
Maybe
from.
if
He'll just
people
get
care
it
about
from
the
Loki.
Watcher.
He'll just get it from Loki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. He'll trap Loki in some sort
Yeah.
of box and he'll drain all his. Because you know how Loki pulled all those.
Well, no, he has to just kill him. He can't. He's got to kill him.
Well, no, because he's got to be like. Oh, he's got to be like siphoning his power or something somehow. But like.
What if he has the combined powers of all the dead Kangs that he murders at the beginning of the movie?
Maybe. But I'm just thinking like you remember at the end of Loki season 2, he pulls all the timelines together to make the tree.
Yeah.
My guess is Doctor Doom is like, I'm going to pull the last two, all these together, and I'm going to make Battle World instead of the big tree. And that's why Loki's in this, because he's got to show up and be like, I need your powers.
I think he just kills him and then he makes better. I think he just kills him. And then he does
Impossible, but I do think it's gonna be Loki has the powers. That's why.
Yeah, I could see Loki being the origin of where he gets the powers.
Because we can't do the Beyonders. That's too much stuff to do in 2 movies.
Yeah.
This is already too much stuff to do in 2 movies, but we gotta do
I
something.
could see him being.
These are both gonna be 3.5 hours long.
We know now that he is like a Tony Stark variant, that he's not a Victor Von Doom variant.
No, he is Victor Von Doom.
Jr. said.
He's Victor Von Doom.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
We know that.
Right. Yeah.
He's just gonna look like Tony Stark.
Yeah, no. So I think he will be Tony Stark, but he decided not to kill himself in Avengers Endgame, and all the Avengers die, and he's really mad about it, and so and for some reason he turns evil, and then the movie happens. I don't know. This is a whole mix.
It's a lot.
So much stuff.
I mean, I guess we'll get our first hint of where we're going with this with Fantastic Four, I guess. I mean, maybe Thunderbolts, but I think Fantastic Four is probably when we'll figure out at least like the inciting incident for all this crap.
Yeah.
Unless they're saving that for the Wonder Man TV show that comes out in December.
It's not real. Not real.
Okay, well, Sam, that's all the news I have for this week.
Wait, does Wonder Man show up in this?
He's not in the cast. I said it. He's not in it. I don't know what the point of that is if we're not going to have him show up.
That's what I'm thinking. He's got to be there. Alrighty, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it. You got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, I've seen
There's too many guys.
This is too many guys
for us to like reasonably theory about their involvement.
I expect most of them to show up for like 5 seconds and then shoot a laser at something and then leave.
Unless the plot is Doctor Doom is smashing these universes together, the X-Men and the Avengers from their side of the space portal try to stop him, and they both fail, and then Battleworld gets made. And then Spider-Man happens, and then maybe that's unrelated, or maybe that's on.
I think it would be fun to go through this and try to figure out like the teams they're going to be broken into, or like who's going to be the main focus. But I feel like we should save that for a slow news week, to where we can spend like 45 minutes doing
Honestly, I think it's really simple. I think it's extremely simple. I think Fantastic Four universe, X-Men universe, and Marvel regular universe are getting smashed together.
Oh, I'm not talking about
the teams are just the guys from each universe.
No. You can't do that because that's boring. The whole point of bringing them all together is to mix them up. So they
get mixed up at the end.
No, you mix them up in the whole movie. That's what the whole point of doing this is.
Oh, so so then
the whole point is you bring in the X-Men and Cyclops hangs out with Thor. Like that's the whole point.
Take 2 random ones from each list and put them on the other wrong list, and that's the movie.
Okay.
I think that's probably what is gonna happen.
That's all I got.
Ant-Man and Thor.
Ant-Man's gonna die. Ant-Man's so done.
Yeah, but Ant-Man and Thor, they team up with Pedro
Nightcrawler.
Pascal, he's got to still be in Fantastic Four universe, and
Nightcrawler.
The Thing. It'll be those 2. Invisible Woman and the Thing get stuck with the regular Marvel people. That way, she can cheat on Pedro Pascal with
If they waste time in this movie doing that, they deserve to lose $1 billion.
And we take Wolverine. Well, he's not here. We take because Kelsey Grammer Beast has to be there to explain stuff because of the photon thing.
We have like 4 different exposition characters.
We take Nightcrawler we take Cyclops and Magneto, and they get stuck with the Avengers, and we take Channing Tatum, Gambit, and we take Mystique, and they get stuck with the Fantastic Four.
This is all good stuff. Teams. This is good. Great stuff.
That's the teams. Spoilers, that's what the teams is. Based on me randomly picking names and mixing them around in a hat.
Sam, I saw Princess Mononoke this weekend.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good, but I have not seen it.
This is going to be better than this.
Probably, yeah, because it's made by an artist.
I would bet
Speaking
money
of
on
Studio
it.
Ghibli, have you seen that
What?
he just is getting absolutely bastardized to no end on Twitter?
I
Even though
deleted I deleted Twitter from my phone. I was like, I can't. Like, it's still on my computer. Like, I still use it to put together the docket for this, but I just can't. It only ever makes me feel bad. I never look at Twitter and like feel good. It's just a bunch of idiots who have like zero critical thinking ability, just like fighting over either just straight up, just horrible, just like hating on minority groups or having just the dumbest ideas anyone's ever had. It's just those two things.
Much. Yeah, Kid Rock is trending right now.
That's great. What did he do?
Yep. Well, I think that's basically it for this week's episode. I don't think I saw. I didn't watch anything that you'd heard of this week. I started.
You watching animes?
I started Solo Leveling, which is like.
I think I've heard of that.
I don't know if you've heard of that. You might have heard of it. It's like really going nutty mode. So I started that one.
Is it animated?
I don't really watch that much anime anymore. Like I really not unless it's absolutely massive. And this one was getting to a point where it's like, all right, this is going to redefine the genre for the next 5 years. So I should probably be aware of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of movies. I watched the studio.
Daredevil episode.
I've been watching Daredevil.
Daredevil episode 6
was fine. Yeah. I've been watching Daredevil. I've been watching Studio. I saw A Working Man.
Oh, Minecraft Live. And now they announced a good update. Actually.
Oh yeah, guests.
Yeah, and they announced probably the best update I've ever seen since what Caves and Cliffs was supposed to be.
I saw Death of a Unicorn.
The Happy Gas. I did not watch. I have not seen that.
I guess. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's it for this week.
That's about it, guys. I think that's everything this week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
We'll see you for the Switch 2. Switch 2 reveal next
week.
And
CinemaCon stuff.
That'll be huge.
More CinemaCon, more Switch.
CinemaCon stuff. So stay tuned for that. Bye-bye.